Hi, this is David Oman with HouseAtTheEndOfTheDrive.com. You're listening to KTLK, The Fringe FM.
Hi, guys. Matt Ray with America's First News. And if you're like me, you're probably still looking for that special Christmas gift for your wife or girlfriend. Treat her to the very best this year. The world's softest pajamas from Pajamagram. Because they are the world's softest pajamas, they're lighter than a cloud, softer than a bunny. They're like cashmere, only better, and you'll love the way they look. She'll love the way they feel. The softness, the warmth, the comfort. And if you're like me, you can't stand wrapping presents. It's tough to do. Well, get this. Pajamagram includes free gift packaging. All you have to do is make the order, and delivery is guaranteed by Christmas. Plus, they're backed by a 100% lifetime guarantee. You risk nothing but the look on her face, guys, when she opens the Pajamagram. So go to Pajamagram.com right now. That's Pajamagram.com. Tell them Matt Ray sent you. That's Pajamagram.com. Tell them Matt Ray sent you.
So, you love talk radio. Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Live for 3 hours every Saturday night. It's a show that engages the mind, makes you think, and maybe even challenge what you think you know. Hi, I'm Jeremy Scott of Into the Paranormal, where we talk about topics that are anything but mainstream, somewhere between abnormal and paranormal. Bring an open mind and join us for Into the Paranormal, live Saturdays at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern on the Fringe FM.
Hi, folks. It's a holiday season with hope in the air. Things to look forward to and no time for despair. Health can be a challenge, and so can the mail. So Get the Tea wants to help you by giving you a sale. Buy 2 months of Super Tea and get 1 month for free. No limit. That's buy 2 months of Super Tea and get 1 month free. That's a savings of $35. Where? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Scroll down on the front page and find the Buy 2, Get 1 free ad. Click it and save. Orders over $100 get free shipping. Send the gift of life. Change tea at GetTheTea.com. We have many non-GMO organic supplements just waiting for you. This holiday season, enjoy health and Thanksgiving with GetTheTea.com. Want to call us? 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. GetTheTea.com is a proud sponsor of doing what's right. That's GetTheTea.com.
Hi, Jeremy Scott here from Into the Paranormal, and I'm back live Saturdays at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Fringe FM.
Who were the real ancient Egyptians? What is it about ancient Egypt that captivates us all? The critically acclaimed series Magical Egypt is back with all new episodes. Let Chance Gardner and company take you on another adventure through Magical Egypt in the new series Magical Egypt 2. Magical Egypt 2 attempts a forensic reconstruction of the science of the ancients through a study of ancient aesthetics. Also, the best researchers and authors in the field like John Anthony West, Graham Hancock, Laird Scranton, Robert Bouval, Lon Duquette, Aaron Cheek, and more join together to explore the topics of the esoteric and the hidden messages of the ancient Egyptians. Just go to magicalegypt.com right now and put in the code word FRINGE and get 10% off any download or order, including the groundbreaking original Magical Egypt series, as well as the new episodes in Magical Egypt 2. Also, check out the great work and the companion series at magicalegypt.com. Click the banner on the Fringe FM or go to magicalegypt.com and use the code word FRINGE and get 10% off your order today while it lasts. We told you weeknights on the Fringe FM are now even better. And we mean it.
Do it live!
Where else can you hear the best shows and the best talent? Kick off your evening with our newest host, Alex Exum, live at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 Eastern. Hang out with me, Joe Roop, on Lighting the Void at 9 Pacific, midnight Eastern. Ryan Gable expands your mind on the secret teachings at midnight Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern. We're bringing the heat every single night. Fire it up, the Fringe FM.
Message is being broadcast by the Department of Defense of the Republic. At 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, multiple unidentified objects were confirmed to have entered Earth's atmosphere.
Discovery Houston, 20 seconds to LOS speed rescue.
Roger, nice to be in orbit.
The first message that comes to you is you are a divine being. You matter. You count. You come from realms of unimaginable power and light, and you will return to those realms.
The vast stretches of the unknown and the unanswered and the unfinished still far outstrip our collective comprehension.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting from Forest Tower Studios, all the way from the Deep South. Now, here is your host, Joe Root.
Good evening. I'm Joe Roop, and this is Lighting the Void. We are live on KTLK Digital Broadcasting, The Fringe FM. Thank you guys for joining us wherever you may be listening from across the World Wide Web. And tonight, we're doing our new moon show in cosmic conditions with Mary Dusina. Now, this is something that we do every new moon, when the moon begins to cycle and turns to its dark side. Of course, it's not really, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the dark side, but the moon cycles every 28 days, and there's a little magic to it. And so we think it's important to keep up with the cycles, and so every new moon is when Mary comes on. So it's right before it, actually, because we can't really do it on a Monday. But anyways, yeah, so we're live on lightingthevoid.com, and I want to say thank you guys so much for your support. If you want to support the show, you can donate, buy a t-shirt. I want to thank Alex Sakaris and John Brisson for coming on last night. That was a really fascinating episode. It was a good time. I had a lot of stuff come out last night, so it got kind of deep, which is good. But tonight we're going to talk about our inner natures, and Mary Dusina from marydusina.com is here with us. And it's kind of funny we're talking about the new moon, because I know China just landed a probe or something on the dark side of the moon, which I guess we're going to find out if there's really a whole bunch of aliens up there or not, unless the flat earthers think that the Chinese space program is going to lie to us too. But I digress. So here, let's do this thing. Let's get this thing going. Now, remember, if you want to call in, you can call in. You can take advantage of that unscreened toll-free number, which is 1-800-588-0335. You could always do that. You could text into the show at 501-777-5631, and you can email the show at contact@lightingthevoid.com. Now, Mary Dusina is, I guess, I'm sure all of you know who she is, but I still feel like I got to do this just in case you don't. Now, the website is marydusina.com. That's D-U-S-I-N-A. And Mary was actually born on Halloween, which is pretty witchy, right? One of the first psychic call-in shows that was ever held in the Tampa Bay area back in the 80s. I miss the 80s. And she's here with us again this is your time to take advantage, get your free reading, get your free consultation. And she's also going to talk about, well, what's going on in the magical airs. How you doing, Mary?
Good evening. Happy New Year to you and Lighting the Void and the Fringe FM. And with the New Year with everybody, I personally enjoy it every year, that we get the high anxiety, potential expectation of the holidays and people reviewing the year, what they broke up with, what broke up with them, what seemed to be a nice new beginning, the velvet glove over the fist that happens for a lot of people.
Does it feel like to you like these cycles are getting faster? Or is that just me?
Yes, absolutely. And the mystical side of that is that not just the technological, but the electromagnetic energies. Well, every year when we hit 26 to 27 degrees of Sagittarius, that's known as the galactic center point, where the Earth is, being bathed in the particles and all of that. And so, like tonight, as we're speaking, Mercury, which in astrology is our messenger, so it's the winged messenger, moved at that point of that 26 to 27 degrees of Sagittarius. So it's about, some of us are feeling exhausted and then invigorated. It's like a seesaw right now. It's like we know that we're coming out, we're going to be outside the box, as they say, or motivated outside the regular envelope that we frame and structure our lives in. And even New Year's resolutions, Joe, that so fits the earth practical, austere sign of Capricorn, the earth sign of Capricorn. It just fits. It's like, okay, I'm going to resolve to gain weight, lose weight, eat better. And it just fits in with the whole marketing scheme. All the gyms start advertising, martial arts classes. You see it all over the internet, and it's like dance classes and fitness and the new creams for your skin. And Capricorn is that main foundation of goals, desires, sometimes fears. Sometimes it's the actual flooring of our fears, but it's about resolving to get above it. It's the mountain goat, resolving to get above it. And as we look at this, 2018, let's look back just for a second. 2018 had a lot of what we call in my realm, in the star stories, had a lot of retrograde planets. We changed and started to shift out of the Leo-Aquarius cycle of eclipses. I know Leos and Aquarius is out there, but thank God when this next full moon happens, at 0 degrees of Leo over the 20th, 21st of this month. We have a pair of eclipses this month. That will finish off all this intensity that's been around people that have a lot of predominant planets in their chart.
A lot of astrologers, though, are saying that it's a bad time. Like, not a bad time, but it's a hard time. I mean, even the Catholic Church their exorcisms. I mean, this sounds crazy, right? But their exorcisms are on the rise. Like, they're doing more exorcisms now than they've ever done.
Well, to your point, in the tarot, in the oracle cards, the card for materialism, being chained by materialism, or when someone gets caught up in envy or covetousness or gluttony or greed, is the card of the devil. And that's the card that they assign with Saturn and the sign of Capricorn. So does that mean all Capricorns are devils? No. But does it mean that all of us, we all have all 12 signs around our personal star map, and Capricorn is the part of us that can get seduced and addicted and attached to the material world. So part of the reason astrologically that there's this, I believe, very viable battle with the dark and the light side of us, and that's perfect for the name of your show, Lighting the Void, is that when we get in that void of making choices with our gift, the Creator has gifted us free will, in the quiet time with ourselves, we know before we make a choice, we have an intuition, all of us do, about that's not the best choice you could make here. I don't care, I want it. I don't care, I want to feel it. I don't care, I want to go numb myself.
That's
it's my turn.
So
I want to feel good.
Because I've been feeling that a lot.
It's my turn. When is it my turn?
Do you know how hard that is for a magician, though? Think about that.
Yeah.
When you know that you could call on something just to fix everything that you shouldn't be calling on, right?
Well, but there's the light side of that, too. Even your evangelistic protocols will say, even if you go into, and I know they have their dark sides and their temptations as well. Probably the more you chase the light, the more you get tempted by the dark, hot breath on your neck. That I've seen in my life. But part of that story goes in a sense of when you affirm or when you petition in prayer or meditation, or even I work a lot with self-hypnosis. I'm so glad of all the endeavors that I did with taking my hypnosis training, even before the Reiki mastership. I love hypnosis because it bypasses the ego and the brain. It takes you right to that core to get over that, affliction or that habit. It gives you a great reset.
I told you before the show about how that I was insulted, right? You remember me telling you that? Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, this just happened. And when I mean insulted, I mean they insulted my show and everything. Pretty much said that, I'm a nobody. And started comparing me to people that they thought were somebodies. And I was like, no, wait a minute. I said, we've doubled in listenership. We don't have 10 million views or listeners, but we doubled in listenership. We've doubled in this. I mean, we're at a growth point for sure. And
your audience right now, your
the
audience
more I
right
started
now,
talking about it, the more they insulted me. And this is not a person that would insult me. They're usually really nice. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? You know? So I just kind of let it go.
If a quote somebody, and I'm not disparaging them, but if somebody throws shade, it's usually that it's an indicator to a psychic. It's an indicator if shade's thrown at you, especially with the sign of Capricorn, that you're about to get to a panoramic view on your mountain. So with the story of that's a great story, because what's happening is that triggered all kinds of various levels within you on an emotional, mental, and holistic psychic level. I often say to my clients, when something triggers you, when you get an insult at work, or you get an insult, or even we insult ourselves, watch where your mind goes right after that trigger bullet got let go. You know, those I call them weaponized words, and I'm forever trying to teach in my seminars and my meditations, maintain more of a conscious awareness of the shade or the light that you're throwing with how you communicate what it is that you want to give, and look at your intention. The higher side of Capricorn for this month is integrity. And, you know, like I say to people, I said, do you think you have integrity? Like if somebody does something that's really unnecessary and has absolutely no real merit, I'll look at them and I'll say, do you think that was filled with integrity? No. And then they'll kind of pause, of course, because they can't believe you're actually going to call them on it. And then I just look at them and say, got integrity? Get some more. How does that, what you just said, how you just said it, as I've always said to you, Joe, since we started talking in July, energy either lifts one up or it drags one down. And if I am the purveyor of the one that's throwing out something to deliberately hurt someone with words or with actions, well, in magic and in Wicca even, be careful of what thou does. It comes back to you thricefold. So, you know, what you're casting out there is a boomerang that's going to come back to you. I often call it the KB effect, the karmic boomerang. And 2018 was about retrogrades. So retrogrades in astrology are about, you better take a pause, better pump your brakes, better look back. So when we look back to the summer of 2018, this eclipse right now, this January 5th, 6th, 7th, this blooming of this new moon eclipse in the mid-degrees of Capricorn is calling us all out. And it's saying, time to look at your shade, time to look at where or what can collapse you, make you feel defeated, make you feel insulted, to use your word.
I can't be the only one, because usually when something like that goes my way...
Oh, no, it's orbiting right now.
And I got to understand, you guys got to understand why I believe in astrology. It's not that I believe that the planets out there are energetically affecting us, which I think they are, but it's not. That's not the point. It's the point of astrology is like this is what people have been recording. It's kind of like a clock when you measure time.
It's a sky clock. That's exactly right.
And people have been measuring this stuff since the beginning of time. Hey, this happens when this is in the sky. This happens when this is. That's all it really is. It's a matter of measurement, you know.
Well, and it's flavors and elements. You know, like right now it's Earth. And just think about in our current generation, our current society, most people tend to overspend, you know, in Hanukkah and Christmas and Kwanzaa, they tend to overspend because mystical people give all year long, okay? They're tithing and they're giving and they're doing charitable things and walking dogs at shelters and thinking about abused kids and men and women. So for me, Christmas or Hanukkah isn't a time where I've got to think, oh, it's my time of the year to give. Because I've trained myself to tithe to the things that are supportive and uplifting in this life.
I got the coolest gift yesterday. You want to hear what it was?
I do.
One of my listeners sent me a package, right? And I was like, I love getting packages, right? So I got all of these. I've got a desk full of stuff people sent me now. And
classy.
I opened it up, and it was wrapped in Christmas paper.
Love it.
Doesn't that make you happy when you see that?
Yeah, the inner child goes, yippee.
It was wrapped in Christmas paper, and then I opened it up, and the first thing I'm like, oh, God, I hope it's money. You know, that's what everybody thinks. God, please let it be money. You know
I love letters with money.
Everybody thinks that, right? Because you need money.
That's right.
And we need
money
to heat
gives you the freedom to go get what you want.
But when I opened it up, it was a very lovely card. an issue of this month's Nexus magazine.
Nice.
A gift certificate to Starbucks.
Nice.
And a gift certificate to Amazon.
Ooh.
And in the card it said, I thought that you could do some nice relaxing bathtub reading with this, get you a nice cup of coffee, and maybe get something for your studio or whatever. And I thought, my goodness, this was awesome.
Talk about a soft moment.
Yeah, this was great. That was
awesome. What was nice about, listen how nurturing that was. Go get yourself a cup of coffee. Maybe you can take a nice bath instead of that ever-present, I got to rush to the shower. I've taken too long doing this or that. I got to go get a quick shower. No, I'm going to have a luxurious bath. Maybe add some, wonderful Epsom salts, Dr. Teal's Epsom salts with all the essential oils, I had a client tip me, and I went out today, and it was at the big box Wally World, and they got in these incredible real Himalayan salt lamps. Now, you know what those cost in private shops. You know what they cost, okay? And God bless everybody wanting to pay their rent. But it was for $16.92, and it's the color change one that I first saw 3 years ago that was like $70. And I looked at it, and I'm like, $16.92, and yes, it's the real thing, and can't get it near water and all that. And I'm like, I'm getting that bad boy.
But you know what I mean? When I opened it up, everybody opens stuff up for Christmas or whatever, and they hope it's money. Because during this time, a lot of people don't have money. It depends on their jobs, but everybody's pretty much strapped, right? So if you get something, your mind goes, God, I hope this is money because I need this, and that. And then you see the wrapping paper, and you get excited. But there's that thing in the back of your head, like, I'm going to open this thing up and it's going to be socks or something, right? But that wasn't the case.
Or the pack of tidy whities or socks or a tie. Yeah.
It made me so happy, man. Like, I was so happy to get something like that. And
I am saluting your audience. I'm saluting the people that are intelligent enough to get it, to tithe to the people that bring you these broadcasts, to tithe to support. If you hear a show and that person lifts you up, then go see them for a nutritional consultation, get a reading, send Joe supportive gift cards and things for this broadcast because we're building our tribe.
I donate to a couple of podcasts too that I really like every month.
Exactly. So, it can be, listen, when we're at those months where the money could be incredibly tight, or I have clients right now that have all the money in the world that they could want, but they're at a health crisis.
Yeah.
Money's not their issue. And, it reminds you when you were a little kid and you would hear certain relatives sitting around the dinner table going, well, money can't buy you health. Money can't buy you happiness. Of course, I remember at 11 years old going, I know I'd be having some happiness if I had a bunch of money right now. So, you just go through different phases in your life. But this year is, and I know in the first hour we got to talk about, there's people that like to listen to the archives and the replays, and they're listening for that January. What's the temperature? What's the celestial forecast? How is January's new moon different than December's and coming up in February? So this is Capricorn season. Now there's a fancy word in astrology called a stellium, and that's when 4 or more planets are lining up, which is pretty unusual in the same sign. Mm-hmm. So at a new moon, every month we have the sun and the moon hold hands and give each other a hug at the new moon, and they marry, as the old astrologers would say. They're in harmony. They marry. So we get that double hug. And if you really want to just take an easy way to learn astrology, the new moon is a great time for you to learn 12 signs in 12 months.
Why?
And really kind of keep a little journal of which one of the new moons, there's only 12.
Right.
Sometimes there's 13. But, you could see which one favors you. So the Capricorn one, if you want to go with the themes of the starry stories and what's the best theme for me in January, this is buckle down, focus on the positive side of it is what do you enjoy working on? What do you enjoy having your focus? What are you putting your focus into? What are the stories you're telling yourself? And the wrong theme for this month is procrastination and laziness. This is that month. We have Saturn, Pluto, Mercury, the Sun, and the Moon.
So it's the month to do something, pretty much.
Yeah, this is it.
Do something, do it.
Absolutely. That's perfect. Because Capricorn it's the enforcer. Now, here's another unusual thing about 2019's beginning, which I haven't seen for a really long time. I'd have to research the last time this happened. You know enough about astrology, Joe, and a lot of your audience does, that when a planet happens to transit out of all the possible 12 zodiac signs, when it comes home, or when it goes to the sign that it rules, according to the ancient magi and astrologers, it's in its power place. Like the moon is strongest when it comes home to the sign of Cancer the Crab. So each month, regardless of my signs or your signs, the moon is happiest or best placed when it comes home to the water sign of Cancer. Okay. And they all move at different rates of speed, but the moon is the fastest moving satellite. This month, on New Year's Eve, Mars went into its most powerful home sign of Aries, trigger on the gun. So we could see some explosive words, as I mentioned, weaponized words. We can see threats. We can see the whole, even politically, we can see that step over that line, just step over that line that's drawn in the sand. And there could be a lot of, look what's going on with France with the yellow jackets, as they call them. I keep thinking about WASP, because growing up in the South, yellow jackets, they have a different kind of sting than a regular, different kinds of hornets. So you've got these people, this whole Aries thing is about I'm an individual, this is where I'm at, and there's a revolution. Now Capricorn, Saturn is at home in Capricorn. Neptune is at home in Pisces. As I said, Mars is at home in Aries. Jupiter is now, until December of this year, it's at home in the sign of Sagittarius.
Is that why I feel like I want to bulldoze stuff right now?
Yeah, Aries, listen, with you being in Aries and Mars in Aries, let's put it this way. Where Capricorn can be patient and take its time, Aries is like, oh, hell no, you didn't just say that, did you?
Yeah.
Them fighting words. Aries is just like, oh, I don't think so. Homie, don't play that.
Well, I think it's good sometimes, though, if somebody... I used to think, like, back in the day, I used to think, I don't got to prove nothing to nobody or anything like that. But you can turn anger and insults and all of that stuff into motivation. You can transmute that into motivation instead of let it tear you up.
Well, and that's where psychologists get the term, we all have anger. But that's where psychologists will take the term and say, just what you said, to your point, that's a good thing to look at this month with Mars and Aries. How's your temper? How's your temperament? Are you using it to allow you to stop procrastination? Like if you start getting pissy about something, really look at that room that you haven't gone through the closet or really deep cleaned. January is Mars and Aries in January this year are what they call in feng shui the months to clear it, cleanse it, donate it out. I mean, the other day I just thought, okay, I'm going through the closet. That's it.
Do you believe in that feng shui stuff? You like?
A lot of it, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. My bed only ever faces northeast. I study a lot of the Oriental mystical philosophies as far as which way you face when you sleep.
Yeah, there's a book, The Emerald Tablets of Thoth, talks about which way to lay your head towards which poles of the planet for you to have certain astral experiences.
Oh, that's interesting.
Crazy?
No, it's not crazy. So what you're feeling right now is a combination in January of there could be frustration with examining what we perceive as our current, like in our face right now, our current holdbacks or our current limitations. So we all need to come up with, I'll put it this way, in a new year, there's a new blank canvas. There's chapters, a book, however you want to look at it. Let's just say the new year gives us a blank canvas. We're going to be the writers that create the chapters of those books. So the book of the year. So the adventure of this year, the vision quest of this year, what we learn about our soul purpose, what we do financially. So January is that month. Right now, the first 2 weeks of January, especially at the new moon, toward the full moon, is the time for us to get that outline for the book that we're writing, or as we're sitting down with our paints. This is a day that's never been lived before. This is a year, this lifetime that's never been lived before. This is the blank book, the blank journal, the blank canvas. So I have a little exercise I do at my seminars where I say, it's a new year. So I want you to think of 3 things. You can write this down if you're out in the audience. Think of 3 things right now as you start this year that you're grateful for. And people say, I'm not grateful for anything right now. It's like, how about your health? Or if your health is challenged, how about a supportive friend? Or how about you weren't the one that was in that accident you just watched on the news last night? Think of 3 things that you're grateful for thus far in this life walk. Then breathe that in. Give thanks for those. You always want to start with gratitude and thankfulness. Then summon up 3 things that you would like to see change or shift, or perhaps there's 3 issues or challenges that you really want to have resolved. You want solutions or resolutions to them. This is going to require discipline, awakening, and due diligence, and hopefully integrity. So those are the things that you can write them down. You just make a little outline, 3 things I'm grateful for, breathe it in, 3 challenges or issues that I am determined to rise above, climb up, get a better view on them, 3 things for that. Wow. And then you can write down 3 goals that you want, like something of self-improvement, like I am going to walk more this year. I am going to eat. I'm going to just start adding in some more nutritional things because, as I say all the time, to me, holistic, it starts with the spirit. You've heard me say it before, Joe. It's got to start with your soul and the broken, sharp shards of what's troubling you and your quietest moments with yourself. We don't tend to share that with people. Nobody makes big confessions in a crowd. So it's why some of your audience is shy about calling. They realize it's going over the airwaves and they get a little intimidated about it. So that's why I said years ago, use a fake name, call in with initials, or call in the second and third hour with whatever name you want to make up. That doesn't bother me. What's supposed to come to me telepathically for you will as a message. So your real name doesn't matter in this scenario. So
yeah,
this
and it's
is
on screen too. You know what I'm saying? We do got to take a break, though. I forgot about that. See, I know this is going to be a good show because I start forgetting about breaks when that happens, right? But, yeah, so you're not the only astrologer that have said this, although you are one of my most favorite astrologers.
Thank you.
But there is some stuff going on right now. I guess
a
little bit of weight on people feeling like I've done all this work for what? I'm not getting anywhere, or that lazy feeling where you're not making progress. But I think if you could just push through this and actually do something different, change it up, whatever, make yourself do it, I think some good things are going to happen. All right, we'll be right back, guys. We're married. Dusina, don't go anywhere.
To Lighting the Void Radio.
The truth is out there.
There's something out here.
And so are we. KTLK Digital Broadcasting, The Fringe FM.
Do you ever wonder why there's so much show in politics? Do you ever wonder why America's not getting fixed? Ever wonder why our media is not reporting the news? They report only their biased opinion. Are you tired of feeling like a controlled rat? Do you wonder what's next? If you're looking for answers, join me, Ronnie McMullen, for my new show, Deep Waters Radio. That's Deep Waters Radio. Monday nights, 9 p.m. Pacific, right here on The Fringe FM.
Hi, this is Aaron Hunter, host of Real Paranormal Activity, the podcast where we tell real paranormal experiences of people from around the world. And we also conduct interviews with authors, investigators, psychics, and mediums. Real people, real stories, real fear. Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern on The Fringe FM. See you then.
Hi, guys. Matt Ray with America's First News. And if you're like me, you're probably still looking for that special Christmas gift for your wife or girlfriend. Treat her to the very best this year. The world's softest pajamas from Pajamagram. Because they are the world's softest pajamas, they're lighter than a cloud, softer than a bunny. They're like cashmere, only better, and you'll love the way they look. She'll love the way they feel. The softness, the warmth, the comfort. And if you're like me, you can't stand wrapping presents. It's tough to do. Well, get this. Pajamagram includes free gift packaging. All you have to do is make the order, and delivery is guaranteed by Christmas. Plus, they're backed by a 100% lifetime guarantee. You risk nothing but the look on her face, guys, when she opens the Pajamagram. So go to Pajamagram.com right now. That's Pajamagram.com. Tell them Matt Ray sent you. That's Pajamagram.com. Tell them Matt Ray sent you.
When I'm done running with the wolves after hunting down a half-ton bison, I look forward to a mind-teetering escapade evening on The Fringe FM.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
This is Cortana from Shift Happens, telling you to pour a glass and park your ass because you're listening to KTLK, The Fringe FM. Shifthead.
Folks, this is very important information. What's to be said about CBD? AncientLifeOil.com. Our CBD is made from hemp and has 0.003 THC, which means this wonderful product won't get you high, no matter what amount you take. What does CBD do for the body? My hands are tied. But you can Google CBD benefits and be astounded. When you're finished reading, you'll want to log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. and purchase. Life is good when you feel good. People are tired of pain. People are asking for non-GMO organic products to help them with you fill in the blank. Legal in 49 states, and again, our CBD is made from hemp. Ancient Life Oil is about helping people one by one by one. If you wonder how good the product is, the CEO takes it every day without miss. AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Have a great day.
Alex. I was thinking about the cops because I was looking at photos and stuff online. It seems like more and more I'm seeing police with tattoos, and it just, I'm sorry. You can't tell the gangbangers from the cops now. I mean, what if they had them on their face? Now, that would be crazy because that's where it really originates from. A lot of people don't know that. I know it's a big thing now on like rappers and everybody's doing it. Gang members have them. Everybody's kind of doing it now. Musicians and tattoos on their face, crosses, crucifix and stuff like that. Crucifix, that's what's really funny to me because it's all satanic. All of it. All of it. All of it. Tattoos are straight from hell. Hell sent. Straight from hell. Straight from the bowels of hell. All tattoos. All tattoos, period. End of story. Oh, you didn't know that? Because they were trying to represent the actual demon gods that they worshipped. Straight from hell. Pure evil. Straight from the bowels of hell from Satan himself.
KTOK Digital Broadcasting, The Fringe FM.
Howdy, this is Catalina, and you're listening to Lighting the Void with Joe Roop.
You're listening to Lighting the Void. The call-in number is 1-800-588-0335. If you would like to text, you can text in at 501-777-5631.
All right, we're back with Mary Dusina here. We're talking about cosmic conditions as the new moon approaches. And so far what we've learned is that a lot of things, or a lot of people may be feeling that they're not going anywhere. They're in a rut, possibly even bored from is what I'm getting. Like they're just not getting anywhere.
There's a heaviness that begins this year because all these planets in Capricorn are saying to us, look, it's not always a negative thing for you to have a conversation and start the dialogue with yourself about what you don't feel like is going the direction you want it to go, or what could take that back to self. What could I do to be better disciplined, to be more involved with shifting what it is I claim that I'm not happy with or that I want to shift? Capricorn has us ask ourselves the question, when I'm alone with myself, what do I feel is a heavy in my life? Let's just say it's financial for people. I feel like I get so tired of the weight of worrying about the finances. And for other people, it's about, I get so tired of fighting, feeling lonely, versus being okay with spending time with myself and not being in a committed one-on-one relationship. And other people will be saying, I feel like it's such a struggle, to be a parent right now with this current generation being addicted too much to the technology screens, So everybody has these different challenges, but when we take it inside, Joe, and to your lovely audience, it's about what's haunting you, what feels like it's a heaviness to you. So it might be different details out there. For some, just the amount of money. For some, they've gained too much weight. For others, I feel like that I need to stop whining and complaining and always getting on the wambulance, and I need to start doing something about it instead of just being an energy vampire over the whole thing. I'm wearing the last hairs off the goat's rear end with all my best friends because I'm complaining, but what am I doing to shift and alter the situation? So let's do this. The focus this month involves the new eclipse series triggering the sign of Cancer the Crab and Capricorn. Now, when you look at it magically, they're both feminine signs. Both of them are a yin frequency, so it has to do with magnetic vibrations. The masculine signs are the yang elements in astrology. There's 6 of the yang and 6 of the yin, and this has to do with us amplifying, allowing and amplifying, like drawing down the power of the moon, magnetized. Imagine that you're a magnet this month. So you don't want to be spewing a bunch of negative self-talk or criticism or hurling insults, or as I say to clients, look at the Latin root word for sarcasm. It means to rip or tear flesh. And when the first time I read that about 15 years ago, I said, okay, I've never liked sarcastic retorts anyway, so I'm really going to be mindful of that.
You know where it comes from, though, right? People's insults. When people remind you of your shortcomings, usually if they're doing that, it's coming from their, I mean, I know this is old,
absolutely,
but you got to think, why would they do that? Because
why would they make that choice?
It's coming from their stuff too, man.
Yes.
Like it's coming from their shortcomings or their insecurities.
That's right. And that's where we can have compassion, but we don't take abuse. So I can be empathic and I can be compassionate, but I'm not going to hang out in an energy orbit with somebody that gets a woody by insulting everybody around them, because that also means that they're always projecting and they're not facing their own stuff. It's like, hey, we all go through high tide, low tide, insecurities. Don't think you're exempt from that, pal. Not speaking to you, speaking to whoever's hurling the
I know
insult.
but you just got to know where it's coming from most
You're right.
of the time.
And a lot of times, Joe, they're really unconscious of that. Like they really don't get it. So I'm that Scorpio that's happy to remind them, are you aware of the fact of what you just did? Because I'm that woman that will let you know. And, of course, the Italian part of me will say that to me again. Say that to me a different way. And, of course, the Tennessee part of me will look at him, and I'll do the Southern thing, and I'll look at him, and, of course, I take my ever-famous pregnant pause. And let's say they've said it at lunch or whatever, I look at them, and they've hurled an insult. It's those people that hurl an insult when they want to say, just kidding. So if they hurl one of those, can't help but got a bunch of planets in Scorpio, I'll look at them, and if I want to play the Southern girl, which is part of my DNA this lifetime, I'll look at them and I'll say, were you talking to me? I'm sure that you weren't talking to me. You weren't talking to me. That wasn't directed at me, right? They got one chance for the back door to back it up, one chance.
So you want to go through these dates here?
I do.
Is that
Thank
what you want to do? Sorry.
Yes. Okay, so right now, we're doing this show on the 3rd of January, 2019. What's going to happen next? Our 7-year itch that I taught you about a couple months ago, the planet Uranus, last year in May, briefly went into the new challenge of the revolution that's on the horizon in each of our lives. Wherever we have Taurus in our chart, back in 2011, Uranus went into the sign of Aries, and ask any Libra all the changes that hit them under a platform of frustration. And that frustration, as you mentioned earlier, had to turn into motivation, or they'd just implode inside. Now it's shifting into Taurus. And so globally, this is going to be the next 7 years is going to have to do with the type of energy, a.k.a. currency, and it may affect our banking, our
For
money.
7 years?
Yeah, Uranus takes 7 years to go through one sign.
Okay.
So it's been pestering Aries and opposing Libra since 2011. Okay, so you guys graduate. You graduate from the sock it to 'em real good school that started for you guys. And when it first went in 2011 was when Fukushima happened. Talk about an eruption, right? So it's going to go back into Taurus, but it's going to stay now for 7 years. That's going to happen in the first week of March. So those of you that are savvy enough to find out where is the house and the region and the planets, if you have any, of Taurus or Scorpio in your actual star maps, and yes, I'm that astrologer that can help you with that. There's many astrologers out there. But Taurus is going to be where your chart is lit up, and that has to do, it's an earth sign, has to do with our material world. This 2019 is a great year to start trying some different things to do with prosperity, treasure mapping, moving away from something that you've been doing for a long time and upping your game somehow. So it's in Capricorn and Taurus are about steady as it goes. So from January the 6th, the 7th, and the 9th, this first long week of January 2019, Venus is going to move into the sign of Sagittarius. Venus and Jupiter are the real good guys in the celestial weather forecast. So they're going to be together. So Venus attracts new ideas, creative, innovative type of things that we can do with our work and our relationships. If you feel like your relationship's gotten a little stagnant, if you feel like you're really not reaching your child, your teenager or your child or your parent, this is new ways to heal, new ways to be creatively motivated and to be able to up your game as far as your own life script. So I really like that. Then let me give you a couple of bumpy times this month. I'm kind of the astrologer that starts out with Saturn and maybe the stormy days of a month.
Yeah, don't be afraid to tell us the hard stuff. I want to hear it.
Yeah, that way, if I tell you that, and if you just write that down, like if I give you kind of the bumpy days, and you write that down, and you're going to be like, okay, she mentioned my sign, I'm going to take it easy. So don't push it. Don't use weaponized words. Don't use sarcasm. Don't drive too fast. For God's sakes, don't text or talk and drive or under the influence of anything that distracts you when you're behind the wheel, especially with Mars and Aries. I would say January 12th and 13th, and especially if you're a Sagittarius, Gemini, Virgo, or Pisces on those dates. Then I would say, again, on the 18th, Mars is going to square off with Saturn. So if you're a Capricorn, Cancer, Libra, or Aries, pause, go slower, slow it down, be more creative, be very mindful over the 18th if you're the cardinal signs. Then we have the full supermoon lunar eclipse that happens just as the sun's going into Aquarius, that full moon, which is the last eclipse in the Leo Aquarius series for 19 years. So Leos and Aquarius are wiping off their forehead going, thank God. So those dates are lunar eclipses tend to show us
we're going to be able to see that
not.
Too, right? That lunar eclipse?
Yes, that one's going to be coming over. That one's going to be coming over parts of North America. Now, this one that we're having right now, this partial
or orange or whatever.
Blood moon, yeah. They're hyping that up a little too much. Seasoned astrologers are like, oh, stop with the supermoon, blood moons. You know, we know that the supermoon means it's just in closer proximity to Earth. You know, quit trying to scare the masses out there with this stuff. Yeah. The eclipse that we're going through right now is interesting, Joe, because you mentioned China. It's going over East Asia, and we could see some things between now and July that have to do with major headlines to do with life quakes, earthquakes that go on in the Asia area, and also to do with certain parts of Russia. I mean, those areas are receiving the eclipse path of this one over the 5th, 6th of January, and that will bloom probably by April of this year. We'll find out what that is. The March-April time of this year is going to be one of the big headliners of things going on. But let's look at that band that was playing over there in Indonesia and that tsunami. It's so riveting to watch that. Oh, God. It was just like, oh, God bless those people. And then on the 21st, I really, really like for Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, I like the 21st, through the 23rd of January. Our creative results will be in, and we'll start to see that these new little baby steps that we're taking start to show tangible, viable, financial, emotional corners of the mouth going up by the 30th and the 31st of January. So I'm liking that. I'm liking the way this month ends, but I would not do your audience justice if I didn't say to them, you're right, this year is starting out with a marked intensity. And it's very educational and motivating and stimulating for life progress if you're an Aries, a Cancer, a Capricorn, or a Libra. This is where you're going to develop a skill set, you're going to go to school for something, you're going to fine-tune a specialty. Maybe you were a teacher for a long time and you decide to become an herbalist and a massage therapist. Maybe you're adding on martial arts or Reiki, or you're going to finally learn about your astrological chart, or you're going to, as I said, Joe, like maybe if people just drop sodas, just do it for 2 months. Don't drink any sodas and just add some raw veggies or fruits into your diet. Like you don't have to do this big drastic change. But with all these planets in Capricorn, it's a great time to dip your foot deeper into the water of why don't I eat some more raw live foods? Why don't I do that? Why don't I try to, like when Ryan does all those great shows in his new book on the food philosophy, or if you go to Natural News or YouTube videos, start listening to some of these holistic people that have done all the research for you. I mean, I've spent 30 years since my teens studying herbs and flowers and holistic things. And 2 months back, your listeners were like, "Oh, tell her to give us a story."
Yeah,
about with each sign.
What
which
about
herb.
the rest of the month, though?
Well, the first 2 weeks of January and the first 6 months of 2019 is the most intense. The backside of this year is going to be easier. It's going to be easier, but we've really got January 11th of right now. January 11th. If your birth date is like April 10th to the 12th. Or October 10th to the 12th. If you're a Cancer and your birth date's like the 7th, July 12th, 13th, these dates, and of course, obviously, if you're a Capricorn, born the 10th, 11th, 12th of January, the Sun is going to join for the only time this year with the planet of transformation, Pluto. Pluto, or Hades, is the ruler of the underworld in Greek and Roman mythology. So we got to start having conversation with ourselves with what's getting under my skin. You know, what's irking me? What's getting under my skin? And I can tell you in the first half of 2019, January has all the arrows pointing to taking care of our skin better. Capricorns, our bones, our joints, our teeth, the condition of our skin. On a psychological level, it's attitudes of discipline. It's the law enforcement. It's what we're frustrated that has power over us, or what power trips are we on?
Are you buried in parking tickets? Pay your parking tickets off.
Oh, God. And if you haven't gone to the dentist for a long time, this is the first part of this year is a good time to get your teeth cleaned. I personally think dentists are way too expensive. That's why people don't go. Or if you're on a real tight budget, it's like, well, the dentist isn't around me right now, then get some coconut oil and start doing the old technique of oil pulling. Like before you brush your teeth for the day, get some coconut oil in your mouth and slosh it around, because it goes up and it conditions the gums and it helps the enamel. And the herbs for this month, the supplements and the herbs for this month, the good fats, you want to be eating real butter, get rid of margarine. Don't be eating the soy. Don't be eating the canola, a.k.a. rapeseed. So coconut oils, olive oils for your skin and your hair. If you want your hair to grow, and you want your skin to do better, add a little bit of jojoba oil. Make your own oils. Up your D3 if you're in the northern hemisphere. Take some more D3. The mineral that you need in January is selenium. And again, like I said a couple months ago, try to get one of these protein powders that you can get, and you can mix it with water if you want to. Those of you that tend to build up uric acid, as they used to call it gout in the South. I don't know what they call it now. But if you'll go and get, thank God it's in the grocery stores now. If you'll start drinking a little bit of the tart cherry juice, you'll see there's black cherry juice in the health aisle of the grocery stores, and then there's tart cherry juice. That's what you want.
Ugh.
So you don't stress your kidneys or if you have a tendency toward gout, which is the buildup of uric acid. That's the Capricorn side of it.
I promise
now,
it's going to get better, guys. We're just doing the monthly forecast here. I'm just
well, I want to
you.
get, listen, I have a Capricorn moon, so I want to get the, here's what you got to watch out for first. Now, here's the good part of it. Let's take it in the mental level, because holistic is start with your spirit. So what's weighing heavy on you? What's the foundation of your fears? Because once you deal with that, then everything after that's good. On a psychological level, these eclipses in Cancer, Capricorn that are coming up this year are taking us into the magic and the fantasy and the wonder that we come in with this lifetime as children. You know, before society or teachers or aberrant parents or friends that bully us, this is like the magic that we have of it. That's coming back this year. So the innate talents that we have, maybe we brought them over from other incarnations, past lives and things. But the big deal changes and the effects that came into us in our early programming between 1 and 7 years old were little recorders. If you're parents and you have children, or if you're out having dinner, and you see a couple and they've got children with them, or a child that's between the age of 1 and 7, especially 3 and 7, when the personality is being formed, we did this too. They're like little recorders. If mom and dad are fighting or they're aggravated, that child is watching everything that's going on and they're recording it. So this time of year, in July of this year, is going to bring up some issues with nausea, potentially our stomach, our gut health, our digestion, if we've got some unconscious, subconscious stuff being stirred. And all of us out there, if we were raised with Hanukkah being a big deal, Kwanzaa, Christmas, these have a lot of family dynamics and patterns attached to them. And so a lot of people have these unconscious things come up when we go into these big holiday type of situations. So if you're a sign Cancer or Capricorn and you want to build your blood and you want to help your gut health, again, D3, probiotics, dandelion. Now, don't go out and pick dandelions this spring if people have sprayed Roundup. You can't do that. You have to, maybe you want to get a dandelion tea. But the entire plant of the dandelion is very healthy for kidney and building your blood. I know Joe hates cilantro. We've talked about that before. So then use parsley.
I hate all this stuff. I don't like doing it, you know.
Well, if I could just get you to start slicing fresh lemon and put that in your tea or your water, get that alkaline effect of lemon. Or in the Appalachian Mountains, there's Siberian ginseng and there's American ginseng. And if you live in an area where you're going through winter or the colder temperatures are coming, and they're talking about the flu and the flu shots and all that, get 3 things in your arsenal. Then take a capsule. Get some American ginseng. Try to get dandelion tea and mix it with lemonade or whatever, grapefruit juice, whatever you like. But ginseng is an adaptogen, and it starts to help back off the cortisol when we're under high stress. So D3 helps that. Another amino acid, taurine. I just went out and bought a bottle of taurine the other day because taurine at sublingual B12 back off stress with our nerves. They help our nerves, the little highways and byways of and our nerves affect our moods. If we build up stress. I wonder if anybody's
taking notes. You guys can always go back and listen to this too, right? So
I'm counting on them listening to the archives. I'm counting on that. Now,
we got a couple of minutes 1 minute till break here. So
okay. So let's run through the signs real quick. Here's your themes for the Capricorn new moon, which means this goes all the way to February 5th. If you're in Aries, it's the 10th house. The 10th house has everything to do with the zenith point that you're wanting to get to in your life. Now, for a lot of us, we think about a life goal, our work script, our career goals. It's not just about making money. It's about having that sense of determination and accomplishment. So this is the best time for Aries between now and March, actually, to start trying some new innovative strategies to kind of get creative, get bold. Aries is bold. So this is not a time to play it safe. It's a time to not procrastinate and to apply discipline. But if you're in Aries, this is the best time to start trying out some new work and career ideas.
Mary, you used a whole minute on Aries. And we got We got to take a break. There's people waiting on the phones here. We'll finish this stuff up, though, I promise.
Yes.
We'll be right back with Mary Dusina. You guys don't go anywhere. Remember the call-in number or the text-in number. 1-800-588-0335 is the unscreened call line, and you can also text in at 501-777-5631. We'll be right back after these short messages.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
Hey, it's Grace. Can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
Magic, the occult, history, health, news. These are just a few subjects discussed on my radio broadcast, The Secret Teachings. I offer unique and objective perspectives on new and old subjects alike, while welcoming guests and presenting my own research with no filter. Visit my website for more information and to subscribe to my archive at www.thesecretteachings.info. And find me on The Fringe FM live Monday through Friday, midnight Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern on The Fringe FM.
Hi, this is Sammy. Join us in the Deep South as we're lighting the void with Joe Roop on the Fringe FM.
Do you want to lose weight but have no idea where to begin? The Fast Start Diet, a 3-day weight loss plan, is the answer. 3 days of nutritionally balanced, calorie-restricted meals delivered right to your door. No shopping, no measuring, and no cooking. Everything is prepared for you and ready to eat at home or on the go. The Fast Start Diet has all the amazing benefits of intermittent fasting without starving. We've helped thousands of people who have struggled to reach their weight loss goals. Isn't it time we helped you? With the Fast Start Diet, you'll lose weight and feel great.
Find us on Amazon or go to faststartdiet.com and use promo code POWERSAVE to get 10% off your first box. And as a special bonus, we will include our #1 rated appetite suppressant spray free with your order. Whatever your diet plans are, start with us at faststartdiet.com and use promo code POWERSAVE.
I'm Ryan Gable, and I want to remind you to keep your radio, phone, tablet, or computer tuned to the Fringe FM. And visit the website, thefringe.fm, to listen to the entire lineup of shows. You can also catch my broadcast, The Secret Teachings, Monday through Friday, beginning at 12 a.m. midnight U.S. Pacific Time, right here on the Fringe FM.
Well, all right, welcome back. Make sure you guys give us a like, follow, or subscribe anywhere. It's Lighting the Void. That's anywhere on social media. Right now, it's just Facebook and Twitter. I've gotten almost 1,000 Twitter followers, and I don't really do Twitter that much. And the thing about it is, Mary, is I've looked at Twitter accounts, and you know what I found out some people were doing, and I've even had somebody tell me I should do this, is you can buy Twitter followers and YouTube followers. You can buy them. And I'm like, I'm not going to go buy people's... Why would you want to do that?
I have never been drawn to Twitter. I know a lot of, they love people that love it, but I'm not a Twitter tweet person. I do the Facebook. I do, I love YouTube for research. I love it. And I like archive shows like you do. If you happen to be...
Yeah, but I'm not going to buy followers,
no.
though.
You don't need to. You're going to excel this year anyway.
Anyway, so...
Let me stay on point with my sign. So what we're doing, if you're just tuning in tonight or at a different point on your archive, we're doing what's called an overview of the themes of the signs. And I just want to say this about your mental body. We were talking about Aries before the break. There's a state of mental clarity in the textbooks called an overview. And what it is, we're giving you a cognitive shift, Joe and I. It's an awareness that occurs when an experience causes you to see a bigger picture. And my dad used to talk about this a lot when I was little, when he was talking to the different astronauts when they go into space. And he talked about how remarkably changed the whole continence of their being and their attitude was once they were out in space, and the overview, there's that word again, the overview effects they had after actually viewing Earth from out. Can you imagine that? You're out there in this capsule that's like any moment it could like crash to Earth, and you're just like toast out there with the space junk. But he said they kept saying when we saw Earth from outer space for the first time as that small blue dot, yet being very aware of how big of a planet it is, our beautiful blue-green jewel that we live on, this spaceship that we live on. From their perspective, from that overview, national boundaries didn't exist, political conflicts are unimportant. They're out in space looking at Earth. So when you come back with this overview, this new and different perspective is what it is. A lot of the astronauts, when they came back to Earth, Dad said they had an incredible shift in their spiritual outlook. Most of them became avid environmentalists. So what we're doing is I'm giving you the overview, and Capricorn is stern. It is austere. Gemini, you can procrastinate. Libra, you can play. Sagittarius, you can be a pirate enjoying the vision quest and the adventure. When you got a lot of stuff going on in Sagittarius, it's like, let's go play, let's flirt with life and see what happens. This isn't that time of year. This is the time of year to lay down the plan. And with Capricorn, it's like, have you ever seen one of those rickety bridges like in the movies? I've actually been on one of those where like it's that wooden bridge and it's got the rope, the only fencing on it is the ropes that you grab, and, you see them in these jungle movies, and you got to get over, like in Peru, and you got to get over that rickety wooden bridge, and you're looking down at it like, I don't even know if I want to walk on this bridge. Well, imagine another way of overview is you walk on that wooden bridge, and it's shaking the whole time, and below you is a big drop, and then you get on the other side of that bridge, and the bridge collapses. So that's kind of what eclipses do. You made it safe, but you're now committed to the ride. You're now committed to the journey. That bridge fell. And that's what the pair of eclipses in January is saying to us. There's some things we got to leave behind. Maybe it's an attitude. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe you're going to shift what you do, as far as the whole collective aspect of your job, your parenting skills, or what you tolerate in a relationship. You complain all the time about your intimate life, but what are you putting up with? I'm a big believer in be the change. Be the change that you're seeking. And for Taurus, January and these eclipses are triggering the 9th house. The Capricorn energy is triggering your 9th house. So for Taurus, they're going to adapt to an overarching, broader brush, like we talked about archangels and the holy guardian angel, like I think on the December 27th when we talked. That's around Taurus right now. They need to up their game as far as whatever their belief attitudes are, their protocols of delivering their personality. Why do they form the beliefs that they do? They may completely change some of the context of what they choose to abide by as far as sacred laws or sacred teachings. For Gemini, Gemini, it's kind of like their private, sexual, intimate shenanigans. I mean, Geminis like to play anyway, but for Geminis, there's a curiosity about afterlife, paranormal, what's seducing them, and what they want to seduce. So remember, it isn't just our sexual life that seductions or temptations come in. And for Gemini and Sagittarius, for Gemini and Sagittarius this month anyway, there's a sizzle. They're moving from stale to sizzle, like they're wanting to create the sizzle in their life. They're wanting things to get sparkly and sizzly and alluring. And so if you're a Gemini or a Sagittarius, maybe you need to look in the mirror and up your own game. Maybe it's time for that hair conditioner or that new hairstyle, or gain weight, lose weight, work out, whatever you need to do. But if you don't want boredom, then don't bring boredom to the table. If you're saying don't expect your partner to be the 24/7 happy pill for you. If you're a Gemini, you need to participate as well. Because Geminis and Libras kind of like to keep it on the surface. They like to keep things light. They avoid confrontation. Can everybody just get along? That's where they're at. So
I can't stand that, though. Honestly, people that avoid confrontation constantly, but never solves anything. I hate that.
Well, and that's the shadow right now of this eclipse. That's the shadow. If they're avoiding the demons or the traumas that really affected them in their childhood, that, like if you were bullied, I'll tell you a quick story. So I'll tell on myself.
You were a bully,
When I was 9 in Tennessee, it was kind of an exclusive thing. We weren't rich. My dad was definitely upper middle class, working at the atomic power plant. Okay, we didn't want for anything, but we weren't rich. But it was kind of a bigger deal that a neighborhood had its own private pool, private pool and private clubhouse and all that.
Oh yeah.
So I was swimming in that pool in this neighborhood, and there was a kid I didn't know. There was a guy in the pool, and he was trying to flirt with me. I don't know. I'm 9 years old, and I'm half tomboy. And so he keeps, I'm like being friendly and all that, because I was raised to do that. So I'm trying to be friendly. I wasn't ever the bully, but I didn't tolerate bullying either. Well, the parents, like his parents and my parents, kind of went off into some other area that was like, I don't know what, maybe they went to get a drink or something in the building that was away from the pool. And this kid all of a sudden held me underwater.
What?
Yeah, he just like dunked me. Like, sometimes kids will play dunking and all that. And
kids are mean, man. They do.
No, I know, but he was holding
stuff.
me underwater, and I realized, that's a pretty good fighter, but I realized, all of a sudden I didn't know it was psychic then. I had this intuition, this kid's mean. Like, I didn't know him, so I didn't know anything about him. But I'm thinking, this kid's mean. And so he dunked me, and I got away once. I kicked him, and I got away, and I said, don't do that again. And so he's like, ha, 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 just like that. I said, don't do that again. Play nice or get away from me. Again, our parents are like off somewhere talking. They can't. I mean, I'm in the pool alone with this kid.
They never catch it happening, do they?
So anyway, he left me alone for a few minutes, and all of a sudden, I think I turned around or something. He holds me under again. I had an immediate knowing that this kid was an idiot. He had no idea that he could kill me. I could tell I was running out of air, and he held me in such a way in the deep end that I didn't have anything to propel. I wasn't close to the concrete wall. I couldn't propel myself with my feet. We were in the deep end. He was holding me down. He was strong. He was holding me down. And I'm like, okay, I can't fight or I'm going to run out of air. I mean, all these things were running through my mind, and I knew I was running out of air. So remember, this is a childhood thing. It's past that age I told you of 7, but I still remember it, the trauma of this. So I knew something bad was going to happen. Like maybe I thought as a kid, I'm going to die. I got to that point of fight or flight. And I had very long nails, very long, pretty nails. I got a lot of compliments on my hands and my nails. I went immediately primal. I took my hand into his chest, and I know it was a psychic delivery. I knew I was psychic when I was little. We've talked about that before. And I dug just like a tiger into his chest. I mean, I watched his chest open and the blood happen. I had really strong nails, and they were long and they were sharp. Well, of course, he let go because I'm sure the chlorine started to burn him, and he came up to the surface.
As soon as he let
go. He jumps out of the pool. I'm gasping for air now, trying to get to the shallow end. He jumps out of he's bleeding. He jumps out of the pool and says, runs and gets his parents. Okay, my dad sees this kid with his chest ripped open, like lines, like a cat. and he's freaking out. You know, parents think about lawsuits. And he's freaking out, and he looks at me, and I can't quite talk yet because I'm still coughing up pool water. You know what that tastes like. And Dad's looking at me. Of course, the parents of this kid are there, and this kid's going, oh, he's lying. He's going on and on. You know, she's being mean to me, and she hit me and all this, and I'm still just coming back from almost being unconscious from this. And Dad comes over to me, and he said, did you do that to him? And I said, wait, let me tell you why. Dad was so mad at me because the kid's bleeding. So the parents ushered him off, said, there's something wrong with your daughter. Just like that. So they go off, and Dad said, I'm cutting your nails. You can't do that. I said, he tried to drown me. He tried to drown me. It's the only thing I could do. I was in the deep end. My dad was so hot. And my dad was good to me, but my dad was a stern father. So he got the nail clippers, and he clipped my nails. Well, I'd always only ever gotten compliments on my nails, you know, la, 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 and all that. Well, I became a nail biter.
Oh.
When I would watch scary movies, now I didn't put this together at the time. I didn't put this together until I was probably 17. I would immediately, unconsciously, my hand was going to my mouth, and I was biting my nails. And then Dad started saying, why are you biting your nails? Stop biting your nails. That's a bad habit. Stop biting your nails. So see how that started to morph into something else? I did not connect the two of when that started. I never bit my nails. I liked my nails. But see, they became my punishment. So the reason I'm telling you that story is that whether you're when we were kids, we might have been a bedwetter. You know, we played so hard and we slept so soundly that, you know, you had the dream. I did that. I'm sure I did that when I was young. I remember Mom saying, oh, my God, you wet the bed. Now I got to do the sheets. So you get a condemnation for that. So when we're young and we're learning our body and we're trying to figure out how to play this game of life. And some kids, when they know they're going to get a bad report card, they get sick. All of a sudden, I don't want to go to school. Again, that's where the avoiding confrontation starts. They know they didn't turn in their homework. They know they've been lazy at school. Nowadays, they know they've been spending too much time playing computer games. Their grades start to fall. They start to stress about what the parents are going to say and the parent-teacher conferences and the bad grades and all that. So they'll have nausea or diarrhea, or the parent will start to think, oh, God, I wonder if they've got the flu. It's going around. But the kid's really stressing. So these childhood things
How do you
become
know I
unconscious.
just went through that? Are you saying that because you know that I just went through that? Huh.
No,
That's
but my
weird.
guides taught me a long time ago, Joe, that some of the quote stories and examples I use become literal psychic examples for a lot of people in the audience out there listening now, or you. I mean, they pounded that in my head in my 20s. Just like, you know, the examples that we have come to your mind are often speaking directly to someone. So for the sign Cancer and Capricorn, this is especially where, like, if you have a moon in Cancer or a rising sign in Cancer, Capricorn, Libra, this is especially poignant for you this year. You're going to be overcoming and connecting the dots, like I did about my nails. You're going to connect the dots about this. And see, I'm totally free of it. Not like I don't bite my nails, and I love my nails again, but I'm sure if I wasn't aware of this, if something was financially stressful, I would, you know, now that I'm an adult, I would go back to biting my nails because it was a trigger that went in when there wasn't a problem. It became a problem because of one of my first I almost died experiences, which later led me into my shamanic trainings and hypnosis, you know, when I almost died of cancer and then when I almost died in a car wreck 2 times. I mean, these things that take you to the edge of death, if we can be time travelers and go back and look at them as reference points and say, oh, yeah, that was a big, emotional, explosive, eruptive charge in my life. When that thing happened to me and that orbited into my life, that was a big damn deal.
Yeah,
and then
I think everybody's had that
we all
at
have.
least once, that almost drowning episode in their life, you know.
Or you dream
feeling.
it.
Yeah.
It's as common as dreaming or astral traveling that you're flying. You know, when you're doing past life regressions, when I do a past life regression hypnosis or a weekend seminar with someone, I'm training them to lift out of their body, you know, but you're doing it in a very soft, cuddly, cozy, your words are very deliberate, you know, to get them to be comfortable. So for Cancer and Capricorns, if that's strong in your chart, I mean, I've got a Capricorn moon, so I'm really looking at the stuff that I'm telling you guys because it's a strong arrow in my quiver of my arrows. It's strong in my chart. So if you're a Cancer or a Capricorn, your life is going to shift in very big ways in the micromanagement of the intimate circle of your life. So kids, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles. There's going to be a lot of really soul-elevating, life-teaching, maybe through some life quakes. And when there's eclipses, there's going to be meant to be goodbyes, farewells, and really stimulating, oh, hello. I mean, that's, yeah. And it could be, oh, dang, this is it. This is going to be that good financial news. Wow, I've worked a long, yeah.
You know, I got a text in here from at our text in line, which is 501-777-5631 from Mary in Alabama. She said, I wanted to thank you and Mary for reading my text last month. It was so helpful to hear the last moon cycle. I think this is the person that had anxiety, and we went into remember that when we went into the stories?
Yes, I do. How nice of her. How nice of her.
So she said it was so helpful to hear personal stories and feel so much healing energy coming from both of you. Could Mary possibly pull a card and tell me anything helpful in the realm of dream exploration? I have vivid lucid dreaming experiences, and I was wondering if her guides could tell me anything I should be looking for in my dreams that I could utilize to better understand myself and my family. Thank you, Allison.
First thing I feel is that Spirit's telling me with her before I even get the card selected. They said, tell her that she might really benefit from reading the Castaneda books, Lucid Dreaming, because I feel like she's a natural candidate for the lucid dreaming. And one of the things that Castaneda teaches you with the whole Don Juan thing and that dream training is to set a conscious intention. Make up your mind as you're beginning to get sleepy and you're counting your sheep or you're reading until you get really drowsy and sleepy. And of course you can take some herbs that'll help you with that too. If you want to take chamomile or you want to take valerian, you can take things that are, or some people work with melatonin to help induce, when you know you don't have to get up early the next day. These are all setting the stage for you to have a deeper dream experience. Mm-hmm. And when I started really wanting to activate my lucid dreaming, to take it, as you say, Joe, more into astral travel, find your hands. Look for your hands in the dreams. So whatever the landscape is, what are your hands doing? You know what your hands look like. Find your hands, find your feet, whatever you want to do. See your eyes. Oftentimes in the dreams, when you're seeing these different people in your dreams, sometimes that can be past life teachings and skills and talents coming back to you. It isn't always the creepy things of a past incarnation. It can be some of the great things that you accomplished in a past life. That wants to come to you in the dreams. So if you want to find your hands, is what Castaneda teaches, or you can find your feet, see what kind of shoes you've got on, or are you barefoot? Another way she can work with that is the landscape. What's your favorite dream landscape? Are you on the beach when you're happy? Are you in the mountains? Are you listening to the babbling brook? Are you cloud watching? Find out where you're at. Are you on a boat? Are you flying around above everything and you enjoy that eagle view in your dreams? But what I feel with her is I feel like that her dreams are helping her, my guides tell me, her dreams are helping her to accept the bold part of her, the fearless part of her. I feel like what I'm seeing psychically is I'm seeing like if you go into the spirit animal world, I'm seeing like the badger. And a badger isn't a difficult animal if you don't invade its space. A badger gets down to business. I mean, a badger is just like, I'm going to do what I need to do. It's about the words of encouragement, and in the word encouragement is also the word courage. So I feel like that what she's gaining in her current dream sojourns, her nightly sojourns, and maybe even some out-of-body experiences, is that she's beginning to find there's less anxiety, there's going to be less stress because she's committed to purposefulness, and she's excited now about the parts of herself that she can believe in, that she's okay with, and it's adding a nice soul persistence to her. So I think when I think of the badger as an animal totem oracle card, I think about tenacity, faith in her, like her faith with divine source, divine creator, with divine spirit and Mother Nature. That's going to be paying off. She's actually going to see those viable, tangible results they're coalescing from, as we say in magic, from the unseen to the seen, from the invisible to the visible. So I feel like that she's getting more sure-footed. She's going to be able to start testing herself and taking more risk. The boldness is bright for her. She'll start to see wonders and signs. She'll see nature talking to her. I feel like that between January and the beginning of March, it's time for her to put a harness on her willpower. And that, like a horse, that's not a bad thing, and she can direct it and apply it and turn whichever side she wants to. In mystical work, the left is cleaning up the past, and the right is blessing and summoning and accepting future intentions and allowing those to manifest. So know that there's some temporary outer conditions around you, but in divine timing is on your side. And I feel like that as she's beginning to listen to the silent urgings of spirit, the symbols that are showing up in her dreams, I keep hearing she has what it takes to get to what she wants, so she can now begin to feel more sure-footed about asserting herself.
And I'm
really asserting
I wish more
herself.
people would do that, really.
This is that year. This is that year. The people that play it safe, the people that stay in the box, the people that would rather not risk potential criticism or potential change, it's like they take the safe way out, but they're miserable in the job or they're miserable in the relationship, but they convince themselves that the unknown is scarier than staying in less than. And that's not this year. This year is bold and bright and innovative. But listen, you don't drive the car the first time you sit behind the wheel. There's things you've got to learn. You don't just go out and play a perfect golf game. There's things you have to learn. If you take up soccer or archery or martial arts or dancing, there's some things you've got to learn. You go to the gym, you're going to have to apply yourself. That's just the way it is. So this is that year, and the first 4 months of this year are about testing out new strategies, upping your game, really deciding that you're okay with allowing that better version of yourself to come out. And get new stories. We like stories. So let's make some new stories. And see what she did. She not only appreciated the pro bono advice that she got from your show, Joe, from the tithing of my time, the tithing of your time, and what we spend to do what we do on social media, for you to finance this station, The Fringe, and all of this, for you to put your time and your money and your due diligence, and for me to have 30 years plus in the metaphysical and the astrological and the holistic realms. We've put our boots on the ground, and we're now wanting to make a part of our expertise available to those that need it out there.
I'm going to start blocking
one,
y'all on Skype if you start calling me during the show on my Skype line. I'm not playing.
No,
Yes.
You got to do it the right way. Text it, email it, call us. So I congratulate her because she cared enough to tithe her time, to send a text, and to validate to you, Joe, for providing this platform and the coming together of our energies and validating my time and my expertise. And that's what I mean by donating your gratitude, your finances, and your sweet spirit to the people that are actually some of those answers in your dark moments, some of those people that will say, here's something you can try. So she followed through with the story. She had a question a few months back or last month. She had a question. Spirit, divine magic, source, creator, allowed her to know about you, to know about me, to come into the magic of that. She applied it. She saw results. And instead of just selfishly going off like, well, that really helped me on that show, I'm better now, and forgetting about Joe or Mary, she took the time and the energy to come back with gratitude. That is what will prosper her further. She didn't just grab and go. She came back and said, whoa, thank you. I started to see and I started to experience in my world and in my orbit that helped me. So that's what we call good medicine. That's what we call good medicine. And she cared enough to come back, like the old Hallmark card slogan, when you care to send the very best. She cared enough to take her time, her magic, and her holistic healing energy to say thank you.
Well, another thing, too, I can tell a lot of people have been asking how they can have or they can get to that state or whatever. So it's not easy, right? Lucid dreaming and astral travel, that stuff's not, I guess it's easy for some people, but for most of us, it's not. And I can tell you the one thing that I use, and it's a little bit different, than what some people may think. But here's the thing. William Buellman has a book called How to Have an Out-of-Body Experience. And I don't know why William Buellman's, it may be his voice, it may be the methods that he does, but I don't know how he does it. But it is the one thing I can go to. I just had an experience the other night where I kind of got out of the body, but didn't get all the way there. And I've listened to a lot of things, but you guys need to get that. And it's on Audible. It's only on Audible, actually. I mean, he has the written book, but if you listen to him talk to you, it works. He's got like 6 or 7 methods on there. And it's called
How do you spell his last name?
It's Buellman, Buhlman, William Buellman. And I listened to it again the other night, and I haven't tried to do anything in a long time. And sure enough, it got me there. It got me to where, my body was falling asleep, but I was still, aware. And he's the only one that can do that for me. I'm not saying that that's going to work for everybody, but for me, I don't know why, but I've found it. I've found the one thing that'll help me, and that's the thing. So you could get a free trial, and if you want to be really cool, you can just go to audibletrial.com/LTV radio, and you can get it for free.
How perfect is that?
You just sign up for the trial month and get that for free. And that'll help you get there for sure.
Well, Joe, anytime someone does, here we go with the Capricorn energy again, when you apply your attention, when you become mindful, and you focus, like the goat's got to climb to the top of that mountain to get different kinds of flora and fauna up there. And a mountain ram is faster on the mountain, but the mountain goat can go to the heights. So just what you said, that takes you literally out of your body, talking about heights. You actually start to move in your light body. Our physical body is the house, the home, the temple of the living spirit. So when we meditate, when we do self-hypnosis, this guy that you talked about, when we work with lucid dreaming, when we work with out-of-body, you're actually going to regions and realms of our multidimensional electromagnetic bioprismic selves. I mean, we're not just this physical body. And if we can set all the arguments and debates aside of where we came from and who's in charge of it all, and just realize that we are a force. We may the force be with you, and we are a force. And how we work with the light and the dark of the forces that we have with our personality, with our will. When we know that bullying is wrong, but yet we also know that we're going to get bullied or abused if we don't set certain boundaries. And usually that comes to us karmically with our family members. Those members that reject us or abandon us or don't play fair with us, be it siblings or parents or even problems that we can have in raising children or with our lovers. It's just like, hey, no. That's not going to happen again. That's not how to deal with me at all. Watch me walk away from you. And then there's the other type of person which is the other side of Capricorn. Their polarity sign is Cancer. And Cancer, the crab, they can tend to be so emotionally needy that it's more important to them to put up with an inappropriate bullying type of scenario rather than to build up, like you said, they get too stuck. And instead of allowing change, they keep going back to the same old, and they're miserable, because they're afraid that they'll be lonely. How many people have you met, Joe, that are actually emotionally starving and lonely and codependent in a relationship? And it's like they show up in society that they're married, or they show up in society that they've got an SO, I call them a significant other, but their inner circle knows that they're absolutely miserable.
Yeah.
And this codependency is a way that they're so, like you said, they're so afraid of confronting their fears or their insecurities and actually getting the higher view, like the mountain goat of Capricorn. This is a time to get over those, and we all have them, as Joe said, those weak aspects of our will or those weak aspects of our ability to be good to ourselves. Listen, you're the most fascinating person that you'll ever meet, and you also are the person that can undermine and debilitate yourself more than any external stranger or person that comes into your life. We're the ones that make those choices of how we'll show up and act to the world and what we'll allow. But if I don't continue with the signs, you're going to get some hate mail. So let me run through them quick. So we stopped with Cancer the Crab. It's all about relationships, especially January, April, July. If you're a Leo, this is the year, especially into April, this is the year to really address the services that you offer. Don't get yourself into points of exhaustion physically. Don't allow the frustration to build up on you. Leo's, it's a powerhouse. It's a fire sign. So the 6th house is about maybe it's time to rethink the services that you provide and, like Aquarius, improve your actual skill performance. It's a good time to fine-tune your skills if you're a Leo Aquarius. If you're a Virgo, it's a flirty cycle for you. Virgos tend to do very well in the Capricorn period because it's a sister Earth sign. So for Taurus and Virgo and Capricorn, it's game on. It's game on. So they're going to have an easier time laying down new protocols and strategies, but I certainly would, to thine own self be true. I'd be really honest with myself if I was just trying to grab and get rather than also examine what you're investing in and how your services are a win-win, not just that you're making money. If you're a Libra, it's home, domestic, family, home and hearth. If you're a Libra, it's about, are you getting enough quality time with the people in your tribe that matter the most to you? But I see Libras extending their tribe, like they're coming into through what they're educating themselves with or the new people that they're meeting. They're going to realize, oh, I've known that person before in another walkabout. That I've just developed a star brother or a star sister there. That's like family that doesn't have to be kin. If you're a Scorpio, it's about communications, how you express what you express. Really good cycle for writing, a really good cycle maybe for publishing or verbalizing and really being heard and having new creative ways to express yourself. If you're a Sagittarius, it's a lucky year for you. Sagittarius went through a hard time between 2014 and the end of 2017. This is a stellar year for Sagittarians, but the area of their life that may raise their eyebrow quickly will have to do with that financial material world. So if you're a Sagittarian, it's more of a year for you to buckle down, keep your nose to the grindstone, and if you want your money situation to improve, even when you don't have much money, then start doing more acts of kindness. There's a way you can pay it forward with random acts of kindness, even when you don't have money. It can be encouraging words. It can be opening the door for somebody, feeding a homeless dog, helping out an animal to get better, helping encourage a child, being kind to an older person in a store, letting them go ahead of you in the line. When you're tight with money, then give more of your energy out there in society. We talked about Capricorn. Capricorn, it's about reinventing your whole life, period, amen. I mean, nothing stays the same if you're a Capricorn by the time you get to July and August of this year.
Is that bad?
No, but it's intense. It's intense.
Why do I feel sorry for Capricorn sometimes?
I don't, because of all the signs, Capricorn and Taurus have that ability to not let their emotions get in the way. They've got a light switch on their emotions. They're able to keep the emotional and the drama at bay so they can get the job done. Yeah, Capricorns, they're willing to do the work. I mean, Capricorns will build the building. They're the law enforcement people. They're the ones that'll say, "You got yourself here." This is the circumstances of your choice. Now, I mean, they're like the counselors at school, when you got sent to the dean's office, or you got to go to the parent-teacher meeting, and are you going to get kicked out of school? That whole authority thing is the Capricorn ability to go, okay, let's look at the big picture here, folks.
So can I ask you a question? And for people that are interested in astrology, because I get this a lot, and I think it's pretty important. There's a lot of astrology apps out there, right, where you can pull up a chart and you can look at your natal chart. You put your date, time, birth, location, all that stuff in. Mm-hmm. And I know that it's important to be exact with that, as close as possible. So, like, do it off the birth certificate and all of that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But there's so many different charts you can pull up. What I mean is like Placidius. There's different names for them.
Right.
Which one do you use most of the time?
I work a lot with what's called the Koch houses, Koch, but in my early days of learning astrology, in my teens, I did the Placidus houses because that's the most common one that astrologers use. Some astrologers like sidereals, some astrologers like equal house systems. That's an easy way if you're learning astrology to do it. But most of the apps like Astro.com or Cafe Astrology or these different things that'll and there's a lot of free apps that'll actually cast a natal chart, but you got to pay for the interpretations type of a thing. But what you can do is run it on a couple of the free apps and start looking at those ascendants should be coming up pretty much the same. So, like, if you keep pulling up, you're a Taurus and you put in your time and it shows you have a Scorpio rising sign at 11 degrees and start, reading over there. You've got the moon in the 7th house. You've got this and this. Start seeing if you're on these different apps, if it's coming up the same. I would go to an actual astrology app like Astro.com or something like that. I mean, I would go to something that's pretty much astrology based. It's not just off somebody's website, because you're probably going to have people that did the right kind of programming to work with.
Well, I know it's a technical question, and people that aren't interested in that probably don't care, but it's always bothered me, because when I pull up charts, I'm like, well, there's these 9 different ways to look at it.
Oh, no, I didn't even go there. No, I would work with either an easy way to learn is just to make all your houses the same degree. That's called equal house, okay, because there's 12 signs and there's 30 degrees, so you can start to learn that. When you want to get a little more intermediate technical, then you either want to run that natal chart, which is just a fancy word for the birth chart, your soul signature. Uh-huh. It's just a forecast. It doesn't make you do anything. It's not something you have to believe in. But, oh, my Lord, is it great for timing. Timing can be everything. So I just call it a sky clock that gives you a star forecast, and it helps you with divine timing. But I would run my chart in what convinced me is I had my chart run by an astrologer, and he used the Placidus house system. When you've got signs, like your moon could be close to either the 7th house or the 6th house, then there wasn't the internet then, but you can read, and you'll know because it's you. You'll read, does it fit more that my moon's in the 7th house or my moon's in the 6th house when it's on the edge there? And then if you run it in the Koch house system, and it shows you the moon is in the 7th house and you resonated with that, then that's the best house system for you. It's kind of like a dip your toe in the water and see which one. It's
so complicated.
Your intuition will help you.
People don't realize astrology is not something that you can just dabble with if you want to be an astrologer.
Oh, God, no. Years. That's why I say to people, the best way to learn astrology or to learn your chart, for God's sakes, pay an astrologer and let them help you with it, because it'll help. If you're not willing to
commit to it, I would always have an astrologer.
Oh, God, yeah, because chances are they've done at least 10 to 20 years of study for that $150 or whatever. That's cheap nowadays, of you getting your chart read. It's like, just bite the bullet, save yourself time and money, pay the professional that has done the trial and error, and out of the box, in that hour or 90-minute session can help you actually launch much easier your own study of your own chart. Absolutely. It's like, why would I go and try to fill my own tooth? Or if you can't heal the thing that's going on with the dog or the cat, you're going to have to go to the vet. And they went to college and they learned how to do surgery and all that. So I don't begrudge them their money.
Right. We got, I believe, Dan from Chicago on the line. How you doing, Dan?
I'm good, Joe. How about you?
Pretty good, man. Are you ready to get through this tough January?
Yeah, I am. It's interesting because I actually just started releasing my own podcast with a co-host where we cover sort of these same topics, and the eclipse that was mentioned for this Saturday, it's going to be hitting my third house, and it's going to be hitting my co-host's 10th house. So it's kind of appropriate for like both career and for your or for my communication and for
What the hell is it? You guys hear that?
And everything. So
I didn't mean to interrupt you, Dan. You hear that clicking?
I did. I heard one click.
Maybe. Anyways, go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
I didn't hear that.
Well, the third house, it's your third house?
Yeah, I'm a Scorpio rising.
Okay,
So
the third house
I have Capricorn
is
third house.
the third house. That's great because the third house. See, right now, like you mentioned, we come into the new moon this weekend, but it's not just a new moon; it's a partial solar eclipse. So those eclipses solar eclipses create new beginnings. And so when you've got a third, 10th house bounce like that, the 10th is what we call the midheaven or the zenith of a chart. So it's all about higher inspirations and aspirations. And for Scorpios, Scorpio risings and Scorpios just had Jupiter, which only happens once every 12 years, zoom through the chart. So for Scorpio risings and Scorpios right now, the whole material world isn't going to be fighting with them, and the eclipse in the third house is going to help them upgrade their communication skills, how they want to design a website, do a podcast, verbalize it, express it, answer emails, do different kinds of blogs and posts. Scorpios are going to be able to just have this incredible flow that's going to draw people to them. So for Scorpios, like I said, the water signs and the earth signs are a magnet right now. Capricorn eclipse is really good for Scorpio. All this stuff in Capricorn is very favorable to Scorpio. It's not too bad. It's not too difficult for Pisces either. But see, the Neptune in Pisces favors Scorpio. And your co-host that has this dynamic happening in the 10th house, they may really be able to bring to the table some new connections and some Capricorn's authority. Capricorn's the CEO and the power players. So the person that's got the 10th house being hit, Dan, may be able to bring in that perfect connection that grows the audience or gets advertisers, or this is a year where you get these really great guest interviews. It's just like, dang, I got that author to come on the show. That's great. So instead of competing with other hosts out there, what you're going to do is, with you having it in the third house with the Scorpio rising, you're going to say, how can I draw out and showcase the best of this author? How can I make them shine? And by you doing that, that automatically blesses the type of broadcasting that you're doing.
Yeah, that's great, and we're probably gonna have to reach out to you two to be on the show eventually, also because you two have lots of great stuff to share. But for me, we have 2 episodes out now, and this whole Capricorn thing with my communication is making me realize that I've got to narrow down my words drastically, yes, because I have a tendency to ramble and say, so I'm going to be working on that.
Are you talking about on your show?
On my show, after listening to myself talk,
I'm
kind of like, geez.
I still do that sometimes. When I started out, I would listen to it and go, man, I keep saying, and right, and I still do it sometimes, but not near as much as I used to. Now, you got to practice talking, and then what you got to do is really, and nobody wants to do this, but you really have to record yourself, do a demo, and listen to it. That's what professional broadcasters do. They practice. See, I just did it right there, and it's not easy to stop.
It's totally new territory for me. So, but
that's the best part of this year.
Yeah, it's not
just
it's
what
not
you
easy.
said.
Yeah.
Just what he said. This is totally new territory for me. That's the best aspect of Capricorn energies. It's the mountain goat. Actually, the old symbol of Capricorn is the goat with the dolphin tail. So, because earth and water go together. So it's like the Capricorn, though. I mean, if you want to really get a hold of Capricorn energy, go on YouTube and just type in baby goats or type in fainting goats. There's a big difference in the two of them, because the fainting goats, if you make a loud noise or you clap your hands, they just fall over and go into a state of temporary paralysis, and then there's the Nubian goats. So start looking at your animal totem of the eclipse, and the Capricorn eclipse is goats. And I go on YouTube and I watch these different goats, and I just bust out laughing, because if you get a little baby goat and you watch the kids jumping around, I mean, they're wanting to jump on the hay bales, they're wanting to jump on the sawhorses and the cars and the big old barrels they put out there, and they build them these little compounds but they jump with joy, and goats can make you laugh even with the noises that they make and the way they flip their lips around.
What's the name of your podcast?
This podcast is called the Cosmic Keys Podcast.
The Cosmic Keys Podcast?
Spotify, iTunes, and SoundCloud now. It just got on iTunes like this evening, from what I can tell. So,
well, I will tell you what's helped me, and I'm still got a long ways to go. I figure in about 5 years I'll have the show that I want. But the book that helped me was, actually, you know what? Anything by Valerie Geller will help you. And when it comes to broadcasting a podcast, yeah, you don't need to buy anything other than what Valerie Geller teaches, and you'll be fine if you can just do what she teaches. It's hard, but she's one of the best coaches out there.
Yeah, I've never heard that name, so I'll absolutely check that out. Check her out.
That was very generous of you, Joe, to do that. I love that. I love that.
Well, you're trying to keep no secrets here.
Hey, it'll only bless you. It'll only bless you. As when I was in the broadcast training, we were trained right away, because I did television too. You can't move your hands around. Too bad if you're Italian. Keep your hands on your lap. Don't say We were taught you can't have any dead air, which is why I'm an avid talker. We could not have dead air.
Pauses are great, especially if you're saying something important. It's okay to pause every now and then.
I agree. But again, you had to learn. It's a switch from terrestrial radio to when you're doing internet and podcasting. You've got more of a leniency, like because Tom you're Likas. Really up.
Remember when he used to do that 4-hour program, or what was it, 4? And he would pause like this so he could fill the 3 hours of programming. So he's really only doing like 2 hours, and he's turning it into 3 or 4. So Phil Hendry turned me on to that.
That's a good Capricorn trick to use.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you complimenting Joe and I, and yet you're doing your own astrological thing and your own thank you. That's classy. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll listen to it too. Thanks for calling.
Oh yeah,
man.
I mean, I call pretty much once a month at this point, so it's because I relate to what you're talking about every time. So, cheers to that.
Right on.
You know what? Thank you. Thanks you. Validation is a nice thing for different people in the same field to give each other, because when we're tribal, when we're a team, we only build our strength. We're not competing. We're not tearing each other down. We're just like,
I got to let go of this phone call, though, because that clicking is driving me crazy. But I don't think it's your fault, Dan. I think it's on my end.
All right, guys. Take care. Good luck in 2019.
I'll check out your podcast.
Keep an eye out for an email for an interview with us.
All right, brother. Take care.
All right. Take care, guys.
Dan from Chicago. That was the NSA tapping in on us there, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I've had that in my life. I've had the military, and I've had the government, in the family. So, yeah.
You know what else I did? I bought this book called The Broadcast Voice Handbook, because I have a monotone voice, and I was trying to get more inflection. And I was doing these exercises, right? How it says something like you can try to make your voice go up, and then try to make your voice go down. That's Kurt. You're blocked, Kurt. Try to make your voice go down. And I'm like, okay, I can't do this because it's monotone.
Think about professional singers, Joe. I mean, they have to take voice lessons. People that are going to do cabaret, people that are going to be on Broadway. I mean, they're with voice coaches, and they're training. to get the different types of, what do they call, falsetto ranges and the bass and the treble and the ability to do that. And even in marketing, when you see these ads for these creams and stuff, it's so funny when you're in the broadcast world, you'll recognize that the host all of a sudden say, we have an offer for our customers that we want. They'll boom, they'll take their voice way up, and it's just like when you're in the broadcast where it's, oh, I know what you're doing. But they're not wanting, like you said, they're trying to go from monotone to put that little hook out there when they're going to talk about the price or the special of the month. They're going to take that voice up for their customers.
Yeah, I can't do it. So I've only got, I don't have a lot of inflection. That's just all there is to it. It ain't.
I like your
sorry
voice.
about it, but I'm
it's
trying.
Comforting.
So.
Oh, Joe, honey, you're going to have plenty of inflection depending on what your callers say and how they, if they make you laugh, if they energize you, or in my case, if they take me into the Italian world, it's like, you sure you want to talk to me like that? You sure you want to say that again? I mean, they'll get some inflection. It's like, yeah, bring it, bitch. So it's like, listen, I may have cut my nails one time, but, listen, if you want to test my intelligence, we can go the evisceration route. We can do, I don't want to, but we can do that. If that's the soul lesson that you need, I'd be happy to give you some inflection.
Well, I like testing people sometimes. I think it's important.
It is.
Especially if someone's giving you advice, say like an astrologer. Listen, there's only a few astrologers out there I listen to. Because everybody's an astrologer nowadays.
Please. On every corner, on every blog, please. And the people also that are, doing all the tarot on YouTube and stuff, it's just like, where did you get that? It's like, wow.
You aren't monotoned. You don't believe I'm monotone? Let's try this. Hold on a second. Let's see. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's as high as I can go. My voice will crack after that.
But you're monotone. In the right. But I like the range of your voice. What you have is a soothing voice. All right, think about some of the people on commercials, or one of the things that Fran Drescher always heard her whole life when she did that show in the 80s, The Nanny. Beautiful woman, horrible voice.
Is she the one that had that screechy cat sound voice?
Yes. Yeah.
God, I remember that.
Yeah. And she said it was the bane of her existence. She said, I was born with this voice. I took voice lessons. She said, so in this Capricorn season, for example, she would then once again need to go to a voice coach. So she said, it's just like, I'm stuck here. She said, it's like, I'm stuck. I got to get out of this. But she actually got known for that raspy, irritating type of voice where, like, if you think about some of your, like,
that's
one
so
of the voices
sad,
that...
It's not her fault, is it?
No. Think about people like the people that follow these, what's the name they use for those shows, like these reality shows, when they like the people that get infatuated, I don't know why, by the Kardashians, but obviously they make money. Now, that voice of Kim Kardashian annoys me. It's like it's not in a range. She may be a really nice person, but her voice is in a range that just hits me the wrong way. So it's like she's like that kind of annoying voice to me.
That lady has,
and everybody's got that.
Well, you know what happened actually this past hour is we skipped our break. So, we've made it to the last hour. This is, what I like to do in the last hour on Thursdays, since it's the end of the week for us, is I like to tell stories, but we're going to relate them to astrology.
Okay.
Who's better than telling stories than Mary Dusina? Or I guess both of us, right? Mm-hmm. So, I'll unblock you after the show, Kurt, but I warned you. Don't call my bluff on that. I'll be right back.
This is Elle. I listen to Lighting the Void because it's interactive radio with good content, interesting guests, and a humble host, sharing this journey through the esoteric. Hey, Joe Roop. Thanks for having us along for the ride.
Thank you so much for a delightful evening.
Well, I got a lot of ground to cover.
Hi, this is Aaron Hunter, host of Real Paranormal Activity, the podcast where we tell real paranormal experiences of people from around the world. And we also conduct interviews with authors, investigators, psychics, and mediums. Real people, real stories, real fear. Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern on The Fringe FM. See you then.
Hey, Fringe FM listeners. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or no Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of the Fringe FM by calling 701-719-3971. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. Saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Call 701-719-3971. That's 701-719-3971. Listen to the Fringe FM on any phone, anytime, anywhere.
Hey, this is Moonlit, stopping by to remind all you Fringe FM listeners that there would be no Christmas without Joe Roop. He is the reason for the season, folks. Reverend Moon out. Now jingle my bell, darling. Ooh, that's the spot. Here comes the moon nog, babies. Ho, ho, ho.
All right, everyone, this is Justin from the UK. Excuse the chitty. If you're into the Fringe and you want to hear the brass tacks, my old china plate, Joe Roop and his guests on Light in the Void will open your mince pies. You need to shut your northern self and use your 10-speed gears and listen to them bubble. You could hear a Barry Crocker, no Brussels, but he ain't no holy friar. Anyway, you beat a Barnaby Rudge and take a butcher's.
Poor water quality is a major health issue, and it's only getting worse. Municipalities can't keep up, standards have dropped, and pollutants are increasing. Where does it all end? It ends by keeping the pollutants outside of your home with HydroCare's advanced systems available at Wave Home Solutions. No less than the best purification materials and processes have been developed by HydroCare to provide you with healthy, clean water for drinking, cooking, and showering. HydroCare far surpasses the competition in removing chlorine, odors, iron, lead, chemicals, limescale, and much more. Don't settle for less when it comes to your water. We'll take care of the toughest water problems for you, whether it's from a city or well source. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, call 888-997-WAVE. That's 888-997-WAVE. Or go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
You're listening to Lighting the Void Radio.
I like to listen to Lighting the Void because of the guests, the content, and the host, Joe Roop. He's smart, he's intelligent, and he seems to ask the questions that we all have on our mind. We're all searching for the truth, and Joe helps us get closer to it. I love this show. I love this show. I love this show. Lighting the Void.
Follow The Fringe FM on Facebook and Twitter at The Fringe FM. Start your evenings with The Fringe FM long before those other shows get started. Exclusively live on The Fringe FM, hear the Quantum Hologram Matrix with the Reverend John Polk, Tuesdays at 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern. And our newest show, Sci-Spy Radio with Suzanne Ross, Wednesdays at 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern. Then stay up because we're burning the midnight oil well into the morning hour. The truth is out there, and so are we. Lock it in, The Fringe FM. Welcome back to Lighting the Void. I'm your host, Joe Roop. We're live on the Fringe FM. If you want to tweet something, and I always forget Twitter because I'm not much of a tweeter, but if you want to tweet something, try using hashtag LTV Radio. I can find it much easier that way.
I probably should use Twitter more often. You know I should. But we're here with Mary Dusina, and we at the beginning of the show, if you missed it, we talked about all the dates, the months, and what you should look out for. Apparently the beginning of January is going to be a little rough for some of us, but Mary's... intense. But Mary's advice is to push through it. Push through it and do, face some of the stuff that you haven't been facing in a while, and maybe be a little bit creative too. That's what we need to do, I think.
Well, if we can set our intentions at the new moon, Capricorns are workers. Capricorns are like it was probably a Capricorn that invented the statement, business up front, party in the back. It's not that a Capricorn can't cut loose and have a good time at a picnic or a party or a bonfire or a ceremonial circle where they're telling stories of how they moved into the alchemy of not being led with the ring in your nose just by your emotions. Capricorns are like, teach me. Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. Now, Taurus takes longer to change their mind. Virgo wants to know all the techniques, but Capricorn's going to apply it. Capricorn's like, that sounds really logical to me, and if that'll help me get the work done so I have that sense of accomplishment. So that's how they end up being the managers, the owners, the CEOs, because Capricorn is going to stick with it. Certain Leos are like that too. A lot of Leos and Capricorns get together, which is fascinating that the eclipse combination this month is first our Capricorn right now, and then we're going to have that 0-degree Leo moon, the full lunar eclipse, the supermoon, the blood moon, is going to be in Leo. And there's that old song, I forget who does it, A Total Eclipse of the Heart. Leo rules the back.
Are we back up here? Let me make sure we're back. My goodness. The internet. It was storming here, so I think the internet just went out. Hopefully we're back online. Let me just check the Fringe FM real quick. I hate that. That's the only bad thing about doing digital radio, folks, is when the internet goes down, it goes down. But she was telling that story about drowning earlier, and it made me think of the story where that actually happened to me. And I want to make sure that we're still on the air real quick. I'm so sorry, guys. Hold on. Okay, yeah, we are. And so what happened is when I was 13, my dad used to make me, I told you guys the story a long time ago, how my dad used to make me ride my bike so I wouldn't, so I'd lose weight and get all that stuff. So I'd ride my bike to football practice, and I did all that. And I rode my bike it was like 20 miles a day for 3 months. Well, what I would do after football practice is I would go to the rec center. And everybody's got one of these things in their town. It's like a recreation center or whatever. And when I went there, there's a pool that you could swim in when you're a member. Anyways, so this new girl ends up moving in town. Her name was Jennifer. Hold on a second there, Mary. You've been talking the whole time, and we lost our internet connection. So for like the past 10 minutes, or 5 to 10 minutes, we've been down. But let me finish this story real quick. So I met this girl named Jennifer, and she was on her bicycle, and we were both 12 or 13 years old. And anyways, she was really good looking, and I was from a small town. So anytime a new girl moved into a small town, everybody was all over her. And she decided that she wanted to ride with me as I came into town. So she would wait for me to come into town, then I would go by her house, and she would be on her bicycle. And I used to think, man, this girl's fine, and she's riding with me on a bicycle, whatever. We get to the rec center, and to come to find out, she's been around town for a few months now, and I just met her. And everybody's looking at me with this look, like this disgusted look. And now most of these are dudes, but it made me think of this drowning story, Mary. Mm-hmm. Jennifer and I went swimming into the rec center, and 3 guys tried to drown me out there in that swimming pool. I remember that. They tried to drown me just because she was hanging out with me. And I'm talking about they almost killed me. Yeah. I almost died when I was 13. So I remember that feeling that you were talking about, like, hey, I'm about to die. I couldn't fight them off. I was only punching one of them, but there was this big guy named Dusty. He was huge, and he was just holding me down, and I couldn't get up. And
so you know what I was talking about.
Yeah. And Jennifer was screaming at her, screaming at him, saying, let him go, let him go. And when I came up, it's like nobody ever sees that stuff. No.
Well, but you know what's good about a story like that? As traumatic as it was, can
the
be.
Lifeguard was right there, though.
Ooh,
I'm mad
bad.
about it to this day. They should have thrown him out of the pool, but nobody said anything. Nobody saw anything. And the only thing I thought was like, man, what a bully. It wasn't until later when I rode home. Honestly, I rode my bike back home 15 miles back to the house, and my dad knew something was wrong. And he was like, what's wrong with you? And I said, 3 guys tried to drown me in a swimming pool. And he was like, what? And I told him the whole story. He goes, oh, they're just jealous because that girl's with you. Back then, I didn't have any confidence in myself at all. I thought she felt sorry for me or something, It was pretty traumatic. We remember that traumatic stuff, don't we?
Oh, well, because, listen, when we get high tides of emotion, because number one, look at all the stuff that was packed into that, Joe. I mean, you were excited that she wanted to ride to the rec center with you. That felt good. That was a warm fuzzy. You were beginning to work on the dynamic of that flow, that infinity, or that flow of energy that was going on within both of your auras, within both of your energy systems. And then the surprise comes when you get there that the 3 negative amigos, the 3 little demons, because they were so caught up in the fact that she didn't cast her eye of attraction to them, she chose you. And so they decided, well, let's just eliminate the problem. Let's embarrass him. Let's shame him. They're obviously too stupid, like the one that tried to drown me in the pool. I fully believe he was ignorant of the fact that he could have actually taken my life. But when I look at that magically, it also could have been that if you look at the long-range overarching picture of this incarnation and what I was going to end up doing and how many people that I was going to choose to guide and help, I could see where a demon had jumped into that kid going, get her off this path, drown her, do something, just get this one out of the way. This one's going to be really dedicated to divinity and the light.
Well, it makes you wonder about demons, right? So let me tell you what happened after that. So This is when I started to learn about this girl. She went into the rec center, and I guess she kind of knew that everybody was after her. Like I said, I was from a small town. So she went back into the rec center and told this other guy who was known for beating people up that this guy out in the swimming pool punched her and hit her. And I was like, Jennifer, what are you doing? She goes, just watch. And this other guy named Tommy, he was like, who hit you? And she pointed at the guys that jumped me in the pool.
Love it.
And he chased them down after after everybody went home and beat the crap out of them in the street.
I like Jennifer.
The next, I was like, what did you do? Because that guy broke one of them's nose. I almost said his name because he still is mad at me to this day. But back then I went back to the rec center and the guy's sister was there, right? And she said, hey, my name's so-and-so. What's your name? And I said, my name's Joseph. And she goes, oh, I know you. You're that guy that got that other guy to beat my brother up. Everybody's afraid of you now. And I was like, that wasn't me. I didn't do that, She's like, yeah, right. I can't believe you did that. I don't want to talk to you. And I was like, man, I can't win for losing here. I didn't do that. But Jennifer went in there and did that. So we were kind of buddies after that.
Number one, I applaud her for being not only someone that you were attracted to with her physical beauty, but that she was a witchy woman in a sense. She's like, oh, you think you guys can sneak and pull this off? And the lifeguard was right there and nobody did something about it. Watch this. That's why she looked at you and said, watch this.
I still feel bad about that to this day, though, because when Tommy hit him in the nose, he bled. I mean, as soon as he hit him, blood just splattered on the ground. That's how hard the guy would hit people. And I feel bad about it. I apologize to him to this day. Even if I see him in town and we start talking, I'll tell him, look, man, I wasn't me. I didn't do that. I'm sorry about it. And that was when I was 13. That was 20 years ago. Why do I even care?
Okay. All right. Now that came up tonight. This story came up under the Capricorn eclipse. My almost drowning story came up. So these are examples of when we're time travelers and we look back over our life this far. So it's not a past life review. We're actually reviewing something that happened in our emotional, physical, psychological realm in this incarnation. There's a really famous guy called Dan Brinkley, and when I went to see him, he's the guy that was struck by lightning that they did movies about and everything. When I went to see him several times in North Georgia and over in Black Mountain, North Carolina, he primarily deals with veterans in hospice. They're getting ready to cross over, and he's a powerful Leo. He's a powerful, he looks like a sandy-haired lion. But one of the things he always maintains in his teaching lectures is he said, listen, I've died 3 times, struck by lightning, had a couple of heart attacks. I like it over there. I keep saying, why can't I just go? And he said, but here's what I want to tell you. Start practicing looking at this life in review, like you and I are demonstrating to the audience tonight. Start replaying some of those stories. Like you said, you just now said in your story, to this day, when I see him, I apologize. So you've cleaned it up. There's no need to apologize to him anymore. You weren't, number one, you weren't guilty, so you need to hold no shame, blame about that. You were an innocent, talk about goats and lambs, you were the innocent lamb that they were choosing to sacrifice and slaughter because they didn't get things their way.
Well, that's
she
the
became
whole reason
a Randy.
Why my dad had me. Okay, so from when I was 12 and 13, I was a short, fat, nobody kid that nobody paid attention to, and when they did, they made fun of me, right?
Bullies.
Right, and my dad, and I told my father that I didn't want to be this way anymore. I didn't want to go to school like this anymore. I wasn't going to school, and he just got tired of it. And the next day, he had a bicycle waiting for me outside. He said, "You want to play football, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And I don't, everybody wanted to play football then. He said, "Well, you're going to ride that bike to your football practice. You're going to get up an hour early before."
Discipline. That's Capricorn.
And I started crying. I was like, why in the hell do you want me to do that? There's a bus, and that's 20 miles a day. I can't do that. And he said, "Yeah, you can." He said, "And you're going to."
Good for him.
And
that's
I was
Capricorn.
like, okay. So for the first month, I hated him. I mean, I was riding my bike with tears in my eyes. I was so mad trying to get to football practice, and then I would get there and just be worn out to the point of puking, and then have the rest of the day. So I would go to the rec center and then drive 15 miles back. Well, after that summer, I'll never forget what it did for me. Because when I came back to school in the 8th grade, every single girl in school looked at me different, treated me different. Mm-hmm. The guys treated me different. I was somebody totally different. And then I came back to school. I came back home, and I was like, "Dad, you'll never guess what happened." He goes, "I already know."
Yeah, sure he did.
You know? He's like,
"Okay, your dad," and that,
I said, "But you forced me to do it." He that's how my dad was. He would force me to do things that I was afraid of. If
we do star stories, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and that's also known by many astrologers as the task master. Saturn rules time. Your dad knew he was a task master. You're going to do this task. And you got mad. He was willing to take the hit of your disdain and your frustration and, you blaming him. He was willing to do that because he saw the overview. He saw the long-range story. That's one of the gifts of Capricorn energy. I see where this needs to go. He's blaming himself. His self-esteem is in the tank. He doesn't want to go to school. He's going to get stuck in a rut and not like himself for a long time in this life. He's in his formative years. I'm the parent. I've got to shapeshift this. So your dad did external magic and said, okay, so the discipline was the riding the bike. The discipline was, oh, God, my muscles hurt, my bones hurt.
Trying to turn him in for child abuse for doing it. You know that? But after the first month, I wanted to do it. Not even that.
Exactly.
There was a couple of kids that tried to do it with me and couldn't.
Right.
Chris from down the end of the road tried to do it. Brandon tried to do it with me. He tried to ride his bike. He actually went and came back, but he didn't do it no more.
Your dad granted you the experience of evolving and empowerment through endurance.
Yeah, it was a trip.
But he did it because he knew if he took you into that life story, that he knew that it was something that you needed, and that you would, anytime that you felt like you were faltering in your life, one of your symbols is you see yourself, you summon the magic of the endurance that you had when you rode that bike. And it's just like fasting. Okay, a lot of times how I got into my nutritional stories, besides, the big shocking orbit tsunami wave that hit me at 21 of like, oh, cancer, oh, crap, I got to make, you don't want to wait till karma or spirit smacks you over the head with a baseball bat with some shocking news like that. So I started fasting, because and they still said this, Dr. Oz and the show The Doctors, there's still these medical people on, they even naturopathic and allopathic doctors agree that fasting.
What do you mean, like intermittent fasting? Because a lot of people are doing that now. I heard
it's always worked. It may be a fad right now again, but it comes and it goes. But
so how long do you do it for?
Well, when I started, remember, keep in mind, I told you in the last hour I was a guinea pig for all this herbal stuff. So, being a Scorpio, I took it to extremes. Yeah. Okay, so I would fast like nothing but water, and that was big for me because I liked my coffee, nothing but water until after 1 o'clock. Now, when you're younger, you can do that because you're not going to mess up your blood sugar too much, So you have to learn, and then I wanted to take it to 3 days because I was doing a lot of Buddhist things and different studying things. And then I read that, you can go 10 days, and I thought, I'm going to do
You didn't eat for 10 days?
I went on a 10-day fast. I told you I was a guinea pig. I was in my 20s. I went on a 10-day fast. I did have water. But remember, I was in touch with a health food store. I was in touch with this gal that owned this health food store, and she goes, now, why do you want to do 10 days? That's a little extreme. You're 25. Why do you want to do 10 days? And I said, the first 24 hours you get bitchy and you get edgy, and I said, it's just then I get this rush, like they talk about a runner's high. And I said, it's not about losing weight. I want to hit these nirvana states. I want to hit these high meditation states. So I only did that a couple times. But she said, now, when you come off a 10-day fast, you cannot just go eat a burger or broccoli. I mean, you've really got to be careful about what fuel you start to put back into your body. She said, you need to come back with like broth or soups. Now, there's people that go do this kind of stuff. Now, if you do it in an ashram or you do it with some Buddhist priest or monks, they're going to train you that you can't do a fast and go out there and be in New York City in a bunch of tension. When you're going to fast for longer than half a day or a full day, like until sundown. I mean, the Jewish people still do that. They'll fast. The Coptic Christians, they fast on a Friday at sundown and they break fast the next day. It regenerates your digestive system. It really kind of resets a lot of your organs. But when I fasted, I did distilled water. I drank distilled water, or I would squeeze a lemon because as tart as a lemon is, it alkalines your body. Part of fasting is also to get an alkalinity to the body because most disease thrives in an acidic body. Remember, I was testing all this to learn about nutrition. On the 10th day, I was certain I could go longer. I had so much energy. I had so much energy. But again, the owner of the health food store is like, no, you're not going past 10 days. I said, I'm telling you, all you do is think about food the first 24 hours. It's just like, I want this, I'm hungry, I'm weak, I'm tired, I'm edgy. But after that, it was like, wow. Now, the thing I noticed is I definitely would get a caffeine headache when I would go off coffee because I drink good coffee. I like to grind my beans.
If you don't eat, then you just drink for whenever you're...
You have to have fluids. You can't mess up your electrolytes. Yeah, you have to have fluids. But I would do water. By the third day, I might add dandelion tea or I might add peppermint tea or something. I would start the tea. You could start coming, but it was all liquid. I should clarify. I did liquid fast. That's what I did. I did liquid fast. Now, it would be really easy to do it now because I've trained myself every day. Part of my nutritional program is I have a healthy smoothie that I make myself. So I'm doing liquid diet part of my day, and I can tell you nutritionally, there's no way I could eat all that food in one day. That fresh frozen pineapple and the bananas and the green powder. I don't like the taste of the green powder, so I mask it with the blueberries and the banana and the pineapple and whatever cranberries, and I just grind it all up in my Ninja blender. And I only have one real meal a day, and then I do my smoothie twice a day. And I've got those nutritional powders in there. It makes it very easy to fast now. But it keeps your vital organs, the liver and the kidneys regenerate. Your digestive enzymes are fortified with pineapple. And it's okay. So if I've studied nutrition 30 years, then I can say to people, listen, I can tell you these things because I've been the guinea pig, but I still want you to go research this yourself. You go type in, what are the benefits of eating pineapple? And, what's the health benefits and what's the cautions of cranberries or whatever it is you're going to do. Go type it in. Learn it for yourself. That's the discipline of like Virgo and Capricorn. Go research it. Because listen, I tell people, stop stressing about the organic stuff. Right now, start with more non-GMO foods and read your labels. Just go read your labels. I mean, you learn that what they're sliding into your food isn't a good thing. It takes longer for me now to shop because I'm looking for canola. I'm looking for soybean oil because I'm not going to eat it. And don't take my word for it. Go look it up. Go look it up. They're not gonna get away with that with me. It's not going to happen. So
I think I've
eat
fallen
less.
in love with the pleasantries in life a little too much.
Well, when you start looking at food as fuel, like how you felt when you did that bike, when you were doing you summoned up the integrity and the discipline, and your dad brought that out in you. I mean, yeah, our parents made mistakes with us. Sometimes they were harsh, but I think a worse parent is a parent that gives in all the time and they're too easy. It's just like it's more convenient for that parent just to let the kid be on the internet all day or all day be gaming because it's like it's an electronic babysitter and they really don't have to deal with raising the child or the issues the child may have, and the child gets lost with some of the things that might be bothering them, taking it into the techno world. This year we need to start engaging more in face-to-face conversations. We need some of that Capricorn eclipse discipline of like, put your phone at the door. We're going to have dinner together. We're going out to eat. Leave your phone at home.
Yeah.
We need to do that. We need to, the danger of, you want to go conspiracy theory, the danger of what's going on with the powers that be of the dark side, they want to take away our emotional empathy. And humans have these great ranges of emotions, compassion and empathy and laughter and joy. And the dark force doesn't want you to have that. The dark force feeds off of the absolute seamy negative side of sexuality, like cruelty and unbridled anger and resentment and envy and greed and like nasty abusive stuff sexually. The dark force just loves that. It loves it when you get addicted to something because then there's the hook, there's the fish hook. So it's important that we don't get so techno AI controlled, influenced by the media, the fake news, get caught up in all this political vitriol. I don't care. To me, there's the whole political thing is corrupt as it is. There is no Republican or Democratic. Not really. I mean, I think there's good patriots out there on both sides, but it's a game. It's just a game because they're doing what they want to do regardless of what you think.
Oh, yeah.
And who's the puppet masters? I mean, don't even let yourself get caught up in the political sides of things. Don't even do it. Don't even do it. Don't even let that rob your beautiful auric and emotional energies.
Dawn
and
said
I believe
the
this
longest
year
fast she went on was 40. How many days can you go without eating before you're dead? She said she went on a fast for 45 days.
People can do that.
Right
I don't know for sure because we're so unique and different, but mine was about detoxing the physical body because I had, a health issue roar up. But for me, the main reason I started doing the fasting once I beat the cancer thing was that I really got a high from it. And at that stage of my spiritual work, I was getting into the really neat stages. Now you can go, like you were talking about that guy, you can go on YouTube and you can, what I used to pay for, and you can type in Dr. Brian Weiss and do past life regressions right there for 20 minutes with whatever you're paying for the internet. I love the free stuff that's available out there right now that I paid $400 and $500 training for in my life. and I love, for beginners, I love Kelly Howell's universal life secret, the universal secret life secret meditation, she tells you it's going to take 30 days to make a shift in your subconscious. So let's say you really don't know how to correct a defeating habit that you have. She said, just listen to this when you fall asleep at night, or if you're a morning sleeper, put this on, go to sleep, and put this on your smartphone and just play it. It's like she has an incredible voice, and she does this thing where she's helping you to reset, like a fast. She's helping you to reset your subconscious. And as children, we didn't have the ability of self-hypnosis and all that unless we grew up with that in a household that promoted that. Now, I did with my stepkids. I say, listen to this. You're going to listen to this meditation. You're going to listen to the secret universal meditation. That's what you're going to do. I'm putting it on. You're going to listen to it.
Here's what I want to run by you, just as a thought. And I want your thoughts on this because you study the medicine wheel and herbs and all this stuff.
Oh,
right?
yes.
So, and I looked into that medicine wheel. It is actually opposite of, the high magic wheel with the angels and stuff.
Right.
So you were totally right about it. Of course.
But both can work.
So I was reading this in this magazine I got, plus I was looking it up on some websites, and Gordon's talked about this. Entheogens, pretty much mushrooms, if you want to look at it that way.
Yep.
Psilocybin.
Yep.
The studies are showing that people are taking this stuff, and even very small doses, and it's curing their depression and resetting their subconscious, not for a day, not for a week, but months at a time, and with just one dose.
Well, it's much better overall to work with like mushrooms for immune boosting and laying down better neurological pathways than it is to go on fluoride-laced stuff like Prozac and Zoloft. And if you're on it out there, don't be hating on me. Please just go do some research. It's better to start testing some supplements and what might be, like people bitch about lithium in the water, but actually lithium orotate is not a bad lithium. So again, you can't just fly off the handle. You got to go do your research. And I've had restaurants fix me a portobello mushroom, for example, portobello mushroom burger, if you will, and it tasted like a burger. And I'm like, how the heck did you do that? There's no meat on this? And they said no. And it's a known in traditional Chinese medicine.
I'm talking about psilocybin, though, like hallucinogenic mushrooms.
But overall, for immunity, if you, like in winter, it's really good to take, in Chinese medicine, the lion's mane, shiitake, maitake mushrooms. If you want to build your immune system, just take a combination of those mushrooms, for example, for 1 month. And it's in your system, and your system responds to it. If you want to do the hallucinogenic ones, the psilocybin ones, if you want to do that, make sure, like when I did a 10-day fast, when you get to that point of the atmosphere around you becomes very important. You don't want to do any type of hallucinogenic, I don't care if it's pot or whatever you're doing, you don't want to do that when you're going to have a high-stress situation around you. You don't want to do that when you're stressing over stuff because it tends to, you want your nervous system and your neural pathways to be able to receive that like a bliss bath type of meditation. Like you want it to be something to where I'm going to go be, by the waterfall in nature, or I'm going to, because animals are going to feel it and they're going to show up. I mean, I've done that, when I've been out there and I've been high in a natural way.
Right. Well, you talk about the fasting. In ritual magic, a lot of magicians talk about that before really long rituals, or when they're going to invoke something that takes hours or even days or even months. They go on a fast beforehand, like they totally purify their bodies, and I don't know if that helps prove consciousness from a animism type level, because the scientists say, well, you're just taking things away from your body, so your brain's playing tricks on you. But I don't think that's what's really going on.
Spirituality to me is more of an authority than science is. Science is always catching its ass up with spirituality and the divinity. So it's why for centuries that you've had the nuns or the Buddhist priest or the Shaolin priest, and they fast. When you go into ceremonial circles. You know, they have the native peoples, the First Nations people. You go on 3-day, 5-day nature treks, you know, and if you're going to eat anything, you're going to be fine. You better hope you know about medicinal herbs that you can eat. But they go on these fasts to do the sun dance and these different types of ceremonies. When I do the cornmeal ceremony, when I do an actual ceremony for people, for them to cleanse quietly in ceremony the things that have been troubling them deep down, or the big hurts in their life, I don't eat it all that day. I don't eat it all that day because I don't. You know, if I've got a series of readings, I'm just doing smoothies that day, or I'm just doing water with lemon and maybe a couple of teaspoons of elderberry or raw honey, because it's just about food. Nutrients is fuel. You don't want the food to be weighing your system down. You want, you know, there's life in food. You know, if you can keep it to 1 or 2 simple ingredients, there's life in food. Like a banana's a banana. You know, an apple's an apple, and it's a 1 ingredient food, fuel that you're putting into your body. And one of the things that you can do is like the Mediterranean people knew, the Greeks and the Italians and people in Turkey and Morocco, you eat the wheel of the year. You know, you try to eat what's actually growing in your area that you live in seasonally, what's good for you. Like right now, if you're coming into a winter season, it's a really good time to try to do some sauerkraut or do some sweet potatoes.
Plant some mushrooms.
You want to absolutely, absolutely.
Well,
I mean, it's.
Can I ask you another question? Since you get into the herbs and stuff here, Genevieve's bringing up a good question, or not really a question, just a statement in the chat room that I find that this happens to a lot of people. So, especially people that go on ayahuasca journeys, or they fast long enough, or they're doing psilocybin or any type of thing like that. They'll fast, they'll do the stuff, then they have an experience, and they meet beings. And
yeah, they go multidimensional.
So have you ever met these ETs or spiritual beings that people... So we're going to have the guys from Dreaming Jaguars come on the show, and these guys regularly take dimethyltryptamine trips to go and speak to whatever this is. And I'm kind of curious about it, to be honest with you.
Well, I've had a lot of... When I've summoned the Holy Ghost, when I've done that and I've gone into deep meditation, usually I do go out in nature, and I've actually set my intention to go to the archangels or the Holy Ghost. Mountains move in my life. It's absolutely. I've not had any of these experiences consciously that I know of to do with abduction of the grays or anything like that, but I have felt and experienced the presence, a lot of presence of the spirit world all through my life. But the presence of like what I termed ultra-terrestrials, like I don't know if it's interdimensional, I don't know if it's just from other galaxies, but I know that there's an advanced emotional and overall intelligence that my brain could wrap around, you know. So it's just like I knew I was in the presence of divinity. I knew I was in the presence of a high intelligence. When I've done past life regressions, I've met past lovers that I had in other lifetimes. Yeah, like that. I've not done ayahuasca. I've definitely believe in the cannabis herb. Absolutely believe in that. I love baking with it because it's a gram positive. It kills. I absolutely believe. This is just me. I absolutely believe you got to have heat to activate it. So I've had some great mystical journeys and sojourns when I've made those lemon poppy seed muffins with the herb in it, or the brownies that people like to do. I'm not one that likes to smoke, but when I've actually inhaled it, the different types of it back in the 80s and the 90s, you know, it's one of those medicinal. I'm thrilled that hemp's coming back in. I'm thrilled that it's going to be back in our food source and help the economy. I think hemp's going to be a major crop in 2018. And I hope Bayer and Monsanto don't get the rights to it to corrupt it. But yes, I've met a lot of multidimensional beings. So could I say with authority that it was just the spirit world, or it might be extraterrestrial? But when I've gone into the medicine wheel ceremonies, when I went out on my UFO trek in Sedona and Boynton Canyon, I saw all kinds of multidimensional. I mean, that's the first time I saw it with my eyes, like full conscious, not in meditation or anything like that, going, wow, wow. So, and there was no external substance doing that. It was just, with a Reiki master out in the middle of this canyon at 2:00 in the morning. So I'm thrilled about those type of experiences, but when I've done deep leveled meditation, I've always encountered high intelligence beings that gave me absolutely spot on 100% life guidance. But again, you've got to sit down and control the monkey mind, and you've got to carve out a couple of hours, and you want to go into that deep meditation. You want to deliberately set time aside to do that. You might fall asleep after you do your out-of-body experience, raise out of your body and meet these beings. An easy way for people, regular humans, to experience that is a dream, because they come back and they say, well, now that was one hell of a dream.
Let me ask you this question. If I told you that, okay, you're going to take this substance, you're going to be gone for maybe 7 minutes. It's going to come out of your system naturally. It's not going to hurt you because it's already in your system. And I'm just bear with me here. And you're going to break through, and things are going to be more real than they are now. And you're going to meet beings and machine elves and things that people have talked about, like Terrence McKenna, forever, that is going to be more real than this dimension. And it's only 7 minutes of your life. You wouldn't do it?
I probably would, if I trusted the source that I was with, and my guide, let me put it to you this way, and my guides cleared it. Like if I take it up to my guides going, okay, source, I put my hands over the substance and say, I'm gonna go be one with this mushroom, or I'm gonna go be one with this, and does this feel like it's the right time and the right place to do it? And if my guides clear it, I'm in.
Yeah, because I hear a lot of people saying that. Well, you can have these types of experiences without drugs, okay? And I don't really consider entheogens and mushrooms anything from the earth or that's natural drugs. I'm sorry, I don't. Now, if you start putting kerosene and stuff on it like cocaine, then yeah, it's drugs to me. But what I'm saying is I've sat in front of and looked into the eyes of many people. One person that's done ayahuasca or dimethyltryptamine, or what they call breaking through. They had to do it a few times. And another person that's had an experience naturally. And when I look in their eyes, the person that's done the DMT, and this is just my experience, the DMT, the psilocybin, stuff like that, it's life-changing. I can see it. The other person's telling me about a dream experience that faded in and out based on their eyes, based on what they're showing me, not what they're saying.
It's like the astronauts that we talked about. They actually took the trip. That's what they used to call it, the 80s and 90s. I'm going to go take a trip. They actually took the trip, took the risk of body, life force, everything, go into the discipline to actually become an astronaut, to get accepted. And they look back at Earth in its tiniest state, then come back physically and realize what a big blue orb it is floating in the Milky Way, saw our great star, the moon, and everything in a totally different way that, let's face it, most people will ever do this lifetime. And they come back, and because of that trip, and because of all that shifted and their perception that they did, they're changed forever. I mean, the spiritual experiences that I've had, some of the actual all-natural plant that I either smoked or baked with, I had great altering experiences with it. I had a lot of surfer friends, so they grew their own stuff. I mean, I'm like you with the herb. They grew their own stuff. Like people that are discovering the chaga, that fungus that grows on the side of birch trees, and they learn how to harvest that. I mean, part of learning herbs is also learning the herbs that you can survive on and the herbs that you can poison somebody with if you had to.
Yeah,
as a survivalist. I mean, there's the light and the dark of everything.
You know that stuff?
No,
I'm witchy
all
poison
for
stuff? You know how to do that? It's kind of scary. Do you know how to poison people?
Well, there's a reason why you come in as a Scorpio. It's like you just don't want to piss off a Scorpio. You just don't want to do it.
Noted. It's
just not a good thing to do. But a Scorpio mystic is going to think about, okay, I'm going to have to deal with this in other lifetimes. Really, are they worth it? So when you get into metaphysics, even though you've learned this kind of stuff and you care about the evolvement of your soul, you're never going to play with that kind of idea, But if I saw a bat, I used to fly on an airplane before it got strict. I always had, 100,000 heat units of cayenne pepper in a little baggie inside the rim of either my trousers or my denim skirt or my pantyhose, whatever I had on, whatever season it was, because if somebody was going to act up on a plane, I was going to be that spirit that jumped up and threw that pepper in their face.
Moon says all Southern women know how to poison their men.
Or titillate them. Right. There's herbs for that too. You know, if guys are on blood pressure medication and they start worrying about ED, I say to them, listen, just go to a health food store. You know, and there's things you can't take. You can't take yohimbe. You know, you can't take these herbs that will, you know, mess with you down there because you've got problems with your blood pressure. But you can go take, and it's actually called this, you can actually go take an herb called horny goatweed. You can take something called Avena sativa, and that will naturally stimulate.
You can get that $3 for $1 up at the gas station. $3 for $1.
It's actually an herb. You can look it up. Don't trust me. And women, if they feel like that their hormones have gotten to where they're really not into the Bodio-Do mood, then you can go take Damiana. You know, and Damiana will help women. There's all kinds of stuff you can learn with herbs. All kinds of stuff.
Well, I was just teasing you about the poison thing, by the way, but I do know that when people ask me why do I study grimoires and demonology and black magic and curses, I just study it. That's it. And the reason why,
well, if you're studying it, then you're also gonna, you're also gonna know what's coming at you. You know, you're also going to have a type of a voice of authority, Capricorn. You're going to have a voice of intelligent authority over. Oh, hey, buddy, I know about that. You don't want to do that. You don't want to go there. You know, you're going to be able to give teaching and guidance to people because you've studied it. You know, you're going to be able to say, let me tell you why you might not want to make that choice.
It is kind of scary, though, if you think about it.
Well, it's about intention and integrity. You know, the upside of this Capricorn cycle is inspirations. We need to allow this. We need to magically call to us. It's 2019. I want to summon and call forth inspirational, integrity, intuitive illuminations. I'm going to call the light. I'm going to call this into my all-seeing eye, like the letter I, the I am. You know, here's an easy way to see where you're at with your spirituality and your mystical self. What are you putting in this? What's the next word you're putting after the two words of I am? Wayne Dyer did a whole thing about this, as well as many mystics. But what are you saying all the time when you say I am? A lot of people say I'm pissed off, or I'm sick and tired, or I'm so angry about I am. So in our new moon seed planting, there's another I word, intentions. I want to cast intentions for the luminous light to come into my unconscious, to fortify my higher self, to cast the downloads of the almighty I am light into my world over my nutritional choices, my lover, my finances, and my work, and my creativity. I call forth the almighty I am light to protect me, to prosper me, to fortify everything to do with my health and wellness. I call in the holy, holistic, the holy lights of love to go before me, to be behind me, just like the medicine wheel. From north, south, east, west, above, below, and in my center, the within and without, I walk with luminous light. I am one with luminous light. That's the story you want to tell yourself. You want a lullaby and a bedtime story? Cast your intentions. Because what we plant at the new moon, whether it's an eclipse or not, 2 weeks later we have the full moon that says, here's what you need to rebuke. New moon, the sun and moon kiss. They're in the same sign. It's a kiss, a double dose of that sign, so it's good medicine.
You know, even all the magic books I've studied and the magicians I've listened to and studied under, moon magic is the most powerful magic.
Of course it is.
I don't know why. It just is.
Well, and even if a new moon falls in a tenacious, potentially challenging part of our sky clock, our sky wheel, it still is a teacher to us, you know? I mean, it's like what can happen with a new moon is like, this is kind of what's on my mind. This is what's lying on my heart. This seems to be a heavy weight. This seems to be a light that I want to play with more or flirt with more or get to know more. By the full moon, when the sun and moon are in opposite signs to each other, it's that polarity magic of where it shows you, okay, here's where you're at cross purposes with your intention. So when you know that about full moons, I'm looking forward to the 0 degree Leo eclipse that comes up over the 20th and 21st of this month. I'm looking forward to it. Why? Because I'm good with my heart chakra. I don't wish ill on people. I've developed myself with my magical self and my mystical self that I don't give out abuse and I don't take it.
What about this? Okay. And I'm just testing you here.
It's okay. I'm excited about it.
Eric lost his mother. You guys know that, right? My partner, Eric Markham, just lost his mother in the hospital.
Bless him.
And he's grieving right now, and it's not easy for him.
Oh, God bless you, Eric.
He's like a gentle giant, kind of. But he gets, he can get a little evil. Someone, when they were bringing her into the hospital, you know how they put your stuff in a bag or whatever? Someone stole that woman's wedding ring, her jewelry, and her important stuff before she died. In other words, she didn't get to have that because somebody stole it. I don't know if she was looking for it, but that's what it sounds like, that somebody stole it from her before she passed away. That's his mother. Right? Now, are you telling me that if you had the opportunity to take vengeance on somebody that did that, you wouldn't do it?
I wouldn't call it vengeance. I'll remind you, here comes another Mamaism. Mama used to say to me, there's such a thing, and I know you've heard this if you were raised in the South, there's such a thing as tainted money. And I'm like, what? She said, there's such a thing as tainted money and tainted goods. And I'm like, what does that mean? Her word for poisonous or toxic was tainted, like TAINTED. And I'm like, what does that mean, Mama? And she said, just because somebody gets away with stealing something, just because somebody takes something and thinks they got away with taking something that wasn't theirs, it's tainted. And I said, what's going to happen?
This is his mother right before she passed away.
Okay, that's the worst. That's the worst. So what I would do, you're asking me what I would do. I would call in my archangels. I would call in my holy guardian angel. I would call in, because it's a highly emotional charged situation. So when you've got high emotions and he's already going through high emotions about her being sick and him losing her, and then to add literally insult to injury on that, some demonic energy has taken these rings of his mother, then I would say to my guides, if Eric himself said, Mary, what kind of magic would you cast on this? And I would say, return to sender, return to the rightful owner. Bring him now, because here's the way that curse would work. As long as you have those rings in your possession, you are possessed. And it's just like in, that ring, my precious, mm-hmm. Evil will befall you everywhere you go. It was evil that did that deed, and evil will befall you. So here's what happens on something like that, which is hard to wish on anybody, but I know that it's going to happen. Whoever did that with that kind of intention, whatever means the most to them is going to be stolen or taken from them. So a lot of times when we defend Eric, and we don't have to go into details, we're just like, I'm on Eric's camp. Eric is in the right. Those were his mother's. He shouldn't, nothing about that's right. He shouldn't have to be going through that.
No.
I'll give you an example. One time this nurse was dating a friend of mine, and she had said to him, hey, listen, let's go, I'll go half. She's making good money. She had good money. He had good money. He said, listen, let's go on a cruise together. I'll pay my half. You pay yours. Okay. So she said to him, I got to run late at work. So he said, I'll go ahead and buy the tickets. You can just reimburse me. They go on the trip. They have their romantic, la, 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 la. And she never pays him back for it. And so he said to me, that's just really wrong that she did that. I mean, I've got enough money that I don't have to care about it, but it's just bizarre. And I said, well, it's not going to do her any good. And she laughed about it. He found out she was laughing, but I got my time away, and I stuck him with the bill too, and all that kind of stuff. Well, guess what? 2 months after she said that, and I'm a big animal lover, she loved her dogs. Both of them got killed.
That's terrible.
Both of them got out and they got killed. I'm like, you know what? There's some things that money can't buy. So it can come back in an odd, my term, KB, karmic boomerang. There's that karmic boomerang that's hitting whoever. If the hospital doesn't have in-house cameras or they didn't document like a jail, they put your stuff in a bag and they document what you have when you go to prison, I guess, or something like that. I can't imagine that a hospital wouldn't have that kind of thing in place, because a hospital's an institution like a prison's an institution. So if they failed him there, then he needs to go to the head of the hospital, and he needs to, whatever city it's in, I would probably go to the news organization and say, you know what? For the sake of somebody else going through this kind of trial in life, this needs to be exposed.
I would do that. Definitely go on the news. He should do that. I'm going to try to talk to him about that. Mary,
I'm a big broadcast person.
We got to get out of here. Can you tell everybody how they can find you and what they can do and what you offer real quick?
I would love to help you understand the stories of your chart. It isn't something that's going to rule your life or dominate you. You can get a hold of me through the website. You can get a hold of me through my email. It's mdusina@rocketmail.com, or you can just go to the website and it'll bring it to you. It's just marydusina.com.
There you go.
And you can get a hold of me through Joe.
Yeah.
Joe can find me.
Yeah, if you can't get a hold of her, get a hold of me, and I'll get you guys in touch. Thank you so much. We'll do this again 28 days from now, roughly, when the moon cycles again.
Like February 5th, somewhere around there.
Right. Oh, I look forward to it, and thank you for coming on the show.
Joe, thank you, my star brother. And everybody, just close your eyes for 1 second. You too, Joe. I call upon by the lights of love and all it is of the Almighty, the holy and the powerful, wherever your heart needs to have light and healing and wonder, and for our beloved star brother Eric, that he is soothed and the rings are returned to the rightful sender, and everything to do with your whole life and your night's sleep and all that you need to explore, may all toxins be released and rebuked, and your holy guardian angel and your archangels sweetly and softly protect you this year and prosper you. So it is, and so it is, so be it. Aho, amen.
Right on. And also, the show was produced and broadcasted by the Fringe FM and cannot be syndicated without written permission. And music was by Chronox, Kevin MacLeod, Space Station, Guitar Man by Bundy. We also played Carbon-Based Life Forms. You guys, we'll see you next week. More Lighting the Void coming up. And if you're listening live on the Fringe FM, The Secret Teachings with Ryan Gables coming up. Good night.
On this program do not necessarily reflect those of the Fringe FM, KTLK Digital Broadcasting, its sponsors, affiliates, or staff. Listener discretion is advised. We told you weeknights on the Fringe FM are now even better, and we mean it.
Do it live!
Where else can you hear the best shows and the best talent? Kick off your evening with our newest host, Alex Exum, live at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 Eastern. Hang out with me, Joe Roop, on Lighting the Void at 9 Pacific, midnight Eastern. Ryan Gable expands your mind on the secret teachings at midnight Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern. We're bringing the heat every single night. Fire it up, the Fringe FM.
Yahoy there. This is Gigi from Shift Happens. And holy shit, you're listening to KTLK, The Fringe FM. Hey, don't you dare